Welcome to the GGCon TFT Finals. Once again, shout out to AVerMedia for sponsoring our TFT tournament. They are prizing our first place winner with their PWV 513 4K webcam. Their products cater to the needs of streamers, content creators, and professionals seeking efficient remote communication tools. Use !AVerMedia in the chat to learn more. For quick introductions, I'm Flash Nerd. I'll be one of your casters today. I go by he, they. I've been playing TFT since set one, Masters almost every set, peaking Grandmaster like around top 305 in North America. And I'll hand it over to my other caster here, Genos.
Hi, I'm Genos. I'm gold.
Wonderful.
I like the game a lot.
And really, isn't that all that actually matters in the end?
I hope so. I think so.
We'll
What
get
matters if
started
you're
with
not
you
having
guys
fun?
on the actual game any minute now. Sorry to cut you off.
It's okay. Listen, I had so much fun playing until 4 a.m. last night, trying really hard to hit plat, and I was not mad at the fifth place streak I was on.
You know what? Fifth place is almost winning. So, if anything, yeah, you were basically there.
We
Uh,
didn't hit eighth.
for anyone not updated on the tournament rules that we'll be using today, we will be doing a checkmate format. The players here have been playing in intramurals throughout the um, college quarters, so they are coming in with points ahead of time. We have some people who are already are coming into this with like 8 points towards their checkmate. I think Ruffle Huffle is currently the leading player, who will be starting with 8 points, and they need to get to 22 in order to put the lobby in checkmate. And once someone is in checkmate, they need one first place, and they will win the whole thing.
And then they had the Spirit Blossom set, but they gave me Space Group Blitzcrank anyways, and I'm really sad about it.
All right, loading to the game now. We'll see what portal we're on. There will be an extra augment round at the start of stage 5. That means a lot of players that have been really not as strong in the stage 4, maybe didn't hit the units they want, will have another chance to turn their game around. Could end up mattering, but also some players might, even if they have a really bad game, die even before that.
Yeah, that
We'll
would be
see how
really
it goes.
sad.
Loading in here. I think early game is going to be a large part of this. Generally speaking, getting that five 5 win streak is going to matter a lot more on a portal like this, where HP is going to be so I think imperative when the like power spikes that you're hitting can end up much later than they normally do, especially for like reroll comps or
Yeah.
players that are trying to do a level 8 roll down.
While we see Alistar solo these minions, can you tell me what's meta right now on the set?
Oh, of course. We're looking at a current patch, coming right off of a reroll heavy patch where we were seeing a lot of Vayne and
Oh,
Nygar
man.
reroll. And after a few nerfs and a few buffs, we're entering a situation where a lot of the stronger comps are more of these level 8 roll downs or like tempos where you're going to want to play maybe like street demons and strategists, some sort of vertical like that. A big comp that's been hitting the meta recently has been Vex Exotech, where you play around Vex and this Varus for that executioner, and just carrying the Vex and using the Exotech for your kind of front line and to build around it has been very strong recently.
Yeah, they turbo nuked Rengar, but they can't keep the rest of the executioners down, it seems.
Oh, I will say, Rengar has not been kept down himself. Actually,
But
a very strong comp these days has been Rengar reroll with a Jinx as well. So instead of going to that
still?
vertical executioner, you play Street Demons. Yeah, I mean it's not anything new if you've been playing
Yeah.
in these recent patches, but it is still very viable, especially if you can hit some of these artifacts that Rengar specializes in, which we are seeing from Yue as we speak, and they are going to build those AD melee items like this Hand of Justice and that maybe okay, not slamming Even Shroud just yet, but placing some items for that early tempo. It seems like they're trying to conserve as much HP as they can as they are going to be down a silver augment for the current moment, while they wait for their artifact anvil to come over in 8 rounds.
Yeah,
We've
I
seen
think
their
they're
first wave.
probably waiting for a Titan's Vow on that Graves.
Most likely, yes. And we're going to see someone else also take artifact anvil here, but definitely not as strong of a board. Also has pairs, but has not slammed any items, and also stayed at level 3. So going to be prioritizing a lot more economy here on the part of Volley Boy, while Yue seems to be playing for the streak that we talked about. All right, great first round. This is really a lot of investment here from Yue into getting that early streak. So if they get shut down here, it would be heartbreaking. I think at least getting to that like 2-5 carousel streak, um, while
I'm
they're
liking the
trying to conserve HP
Pokédex.
would be good. Yeah. uh,
Probably something
if we
I
could
should use.
cut over to one of the other players here, see how these other early game boards are looking for now. We see Rockwave over
Whoa.
here.
Silver Spoon.
Silver Spoon definitely playing for that early tempo. So they will be level 5 next round, and they've already slammed one item. Seems like it might be two at the moment. Going up against Volley Boy, who again was also the loser of the round we just watched.
We're watching him lose again.
It's a bit of a smackdown as we're seeing. Haven't really been able to see Volley Boy up against any of the maybe other possible blue streak boards that we're seeing. I imagine that some boards that aren't playing for as heavy of an early game tempo as Rockwave and Yue could have a better chance.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta feel bad when you're like playing for this early game comp, and you don't want to lose like that much health, and then they just pitch you against a bunch of level 4s and 5s.
Oh, absolutely. And we're gonna see, yeah, they're gonna play into this. This is a nice level 5 upgrade here. They're getting 3 Nitro in with that level 2 in Italy, and also playing around this rapid fire with their level 2 Kog'Maw. This is a very strong early game. It's gonna take a lot to to take this down, and I mean, we'll see them going into this pre-carousel round if they can keep it going.
Yeah.
And they are going to be against Yue, who we were talking about earlier. That early game board we were seeing really, in comparison to the one we're seeing now, definitely does not seem as good as it did before.
Like winner's bracket of a tournament, the two winners are against each other, and oh my god.
Yeah,
Oh my
so
god, it's not
might
even
have been a
close.
bit of a big fish, small pond situation we're seeing here. That's gonna be a almost flawless victory here. And yeah, Yue is gonna take a ton of damage there. Silver Spoon always gonna be a very high tempo augment, definitely playing for that early game streak. Uh, but we will see the players that were losing every round, like the aforementioned Baldy Boy, are going to have this advantage coming into Carousel here. Could be very important item combos coming because um, in that early game, getting just one extra item slam can change the course of a match so much. I don't think any large swings are going to come here from like some sort of like Cypher 3 costs being on Carousel, so it should be just players hoping to complete whatever item sets they've got at the moment. Oh, it seems like OG Donovan might have been going for uh that glove based on the
Heartbreaking.
pause there. Bit heartbreaking. Oh my, that is a brand on level 5. A little uncomfortable though, because clearly Rockwave is playing for that AD spot, so it might not even be picked up. Uh if we could cut over to OG Don Juan here, who had just leveled to 5. This is our other player who is on track to maybe get that 100 streak. Um, and we see Rockwave actually uh, spectating their board for a moment. We'll see if they actually fight. No, we are going to see Cell here with seemingly some sort of um, Vigar setup. They aren't committed to the reroll. They could still, these items would work on some sort of level 8 board, but uh, not the worst setup if they are opting to go into that Vigar reroll. They already have 2 Vigars on level 4 and a few poppies, though not enough to really make that early game be as stable as you want, especially into such a strong board as Rockwaves here. Oh, and OG Don Juan, the other player that has not lost a round up until this point, does take damage here. So Rockwave is the only person that we are going to see have a chance to get that 5 win streak here. And if we could go back to their POV for a moment, we could see this is really the round to make their early game. If they can get this five 5 round win streak with Silver Spoon, that's really all they could hope for.
I love money.
We love money. We love money. And yeah, that money really is just, I think, the linchpin of these TFT games, if you think about it.
What about gambling?
Gambling, definitely part of it. I cannot argue, especially when I don't hit anything. In that case, usually I would say it's actually all that it's about is the luck.
I never hit anything.
All right, and Rockwave is going to be getting that 5 win streak with 30 gold in the bank. This is a very strong spot here, and with the tempo that they've gained, honestly, has a very good chance of winning the entire thing.
Yeah, I mean that board is just like kind of there's no contest right now.
Yeah, a lot of players are going to be looking to upgrade their boards towards the start of stage three, maybe like that 3 stage roll down post augment, or maybe even after carousel. That's going to be the real test of it, when this nitro board usually starts to peter off, maybe lose a few rounds. But by that point, I think the damage is already done. The amount of money that Rockwave has made at this point, and the amount of tempo that they've amassed for this early game is it's a lot to overtake.
Yeah, because like I mean those losses are just gonna be like worth taking as you kind of scale up with the nitro comp.
Oh, definitely. I mean, from the spot, I wouldn't be surprised if Rockwave pivots over to a more flexible level 8 roll down, maybe even going level 9. Since they've hit so many upgrades early, they really don't have to spend any money in the early game, and they can just conserve that economy and kind of just like save every penny that they can.
God, it's making me think I've been playing nitro all wrong. He's not buying that in Italy.
I think generally in this type of spot where you've gotten such a great early game advantage, slowing your own tempo down by going for some sort of reroll can like maybe lower your placement from some sort of first place where you cap out your board with strong 5 costs and get some good 4 cost carries going, to sort of a roll of the dice where there's a chance that you don't hit what you want from that roll down. And it seems that Rockwave has, for the moment, a similar opinion. They are still available to go for that Jin reroll version of Nitro, where they stay on level 6 and roll for those 2 cost upgrades, but all signs at this point point towards more of a high tempo level 8 comp. And we're gonna see the 3-2 augments come in here. Item Collector, Bronze for Life, and Raining Gold.
Oh God,
Interesting.
Crown Guarded, so strong.
We will see other things rerolled except Raining Gold, which points towards them clicking it here, which is interesting. They
I
do
love
have a lot of
gambling.
money. Oh,
I love
wow.
gambling.
Ops with Thornblade armor. So they're very heavily leaning towards this mindset of winning early. They're gonna get that item for the here and now, get that power spike that's gonna ideally keep them strong enough to win all the way throughout stage 3, and hopefully start stage 4 with 100 HP still. We'll see if it pays out. I think that was a good time to check in with Baldy Boy, our player who was lost streaking for almost the entirety of stage 2, and
Show me
this
a
is going to
cipher board.
be a necessary time for them to sort of get off the back foot, kind of get back into the game. They can't really afford more losses at this point with, or at least heavy losses with how their HP is looking. Unfortunately,
Yeah,
it,
at least it's looking like a light loss, relatively.
um yeah, a 2 unit loss is definitely not the worst you could be coming out of, but a a 2 round loss streak in stage 3 with 70 to 60 HP is definitely not what you're looking for if you're Baldy Boy in this position.
Yeah, you gotta feel bad. We saw someone else roll into a brand earlier.
Few good upgrades here though, and we do need to keep in mind that Baldy Boy has picked 2 extremely late game augments. They've picked Artifact Anvil, Latent Forge, which will, I think, in 1 round give them the artifact that could spike their board to even beat some of the ones that have been winning throughout this time. And also they've taken Spirit Guardians, I believe it's called, where as they lose HP, their board will regain health over more based on their missing HP. So by I think prioritizing this money, they're going for a sort of a playing a first or eighth kind of mindset where they have a very strong chance of making one of the stronger street demon boards here, which is one of the meta comps. They're built heavily towards it. They're playing the comp itself, and they have items that look very good for a brand carry here. So I think it's all going to hinge around what this artifact anvil ends up giving them. If they're presented with 4 melee, maybe a tank option,
Yeah, a
that's
bit
definitely
cooked.
not good enough. But what they're looking for, there's 2 great options for brand here that honestly most of the time change your placement by like a full 1 extra of just maybe going from like second to first. If this brand that they're playing towards can get a Muramana, Manamune,
Mm.
or a Snipers, that those are some of the best 2 items that you can get
Huh.
on brand period. We'll see if Boy sees them and maybe even picks them, but I believe the anvil round should be at the end of this carousel.
Has Deathfire Grasp not been a good option, and I've just been picking it?
Deathfire Grasp is always going to be a fairly decent AP option. It gives great stats, and the ability is not useless. However, brand
What's it
specific
gonna be? What's it gonna
ability
be? I love
synergy.
gambling.
Oh, here we go. And that's the sniper's focus.
Snipers.
If they go for this,
They're
it looks like
thinking
they're
about
going
it.
for it.
Yep, they
Yes.
got
If
it. They
they
got
if
it.
they can hit their brand too with these 3 items, there's a very good chance that Baldy Boy will be in a position to win this entire game. And they've found this Nico off carousel as well with their already pretty strong Street Demon setup. So it's honestly looking pretty good for Baldy Boy, besides the whole HP situation.
As long as the gamble hits.
If we could check back in with maybe a player we haven't seen really that much of this tournament, we can check in with Cell here. We saw them previously have a fairly good Vigar reroll setup, and they have found that level 2 Vigar, none on bench, however, and they are seemingly going to be going for a pivot here into a level 8 or generally 4 cost comp, as they've pre-leveled almost entirely to level 7. Definitely not going for that reroll. Um, HP is looking very good here, so if they have enough money to hit what they're looking for, I think this might be another player who is angling into that Street Demon comp. Um, Based on what they have on their bench, they could also go into uh, Vex and Exotech, as they do have some Exotech units as well, including that Jax. Not a bad setup, but it does seem like they're about to play Street Demons, so that might change. Yeah, I think I was. It seems much more likely that they're going to Street Demons, which is actually seemingly not what you're looking for if you're a Baldy Boy here. Street
Yeah.
Demons is a very popular comp, and while usually there's at least 2 players trying to angle into it from the spot in the meta, if there's maybe 3 or 4 people trying to hit those brands, hit those Nikos, and your roll down's over, you don't have the HP to work with to buy you more time to hit those units you're looking for. And if you're Cell here, you're really not too worried about losing this round. You lost the last one, so you're going into this creep round with a streak, and you had already won so many rounds in stage 2 and 3 that their HP is looking like honestly amazing here. Not the worst situation. It's really all going to be on for both Cell and Baldy Boy here, whether they can hit those key 4-cost Street Demon units on that level 8 roll down that we're going to see coming in most likely on stage 4 too, although if they're a little brave with their gambling, they could go for a 4-1 reroll.
And luckily for both of these guys, I just looked at everyone's board, and I think they're the only ones going Street Demon, so no one else is getting pulled down.
All right, well, that's definitely what you want to see, but I don't know. We're gonna. It's a bit of a competition between these two, I
Yeah.
think, for who can hit those forecasts.
I also just want to thank Stream Team for clicking on Chibi Gwen, because I was actually going to ask if we could look at the Chibi Gwen, and you read my mind.
Hmm. It is a very good design, little chibi.
I just like Gwen. She's so cute. Look at her. Oh my god. Go,
Oh,
go, girl,
I
go.
love Gwen's design. Unfortunately, I have played against her in League of Legends, so
Yeah, and the top lane days are over. Not,
and,
don't talk to me, please.
oh, bit of a yeah, just a pre-level coming out from Cell here. So they're trying to conserve as much time as they can, so that when that 4-2 hits and they pick their augment, they have the jump on that reroll. This is another round that I think Cell is not too worried about winning. Um, any damage they can do, of course, is nice, and they have that 2-star Vigar to deal significant damage to the enemy's units. But we are seeing on the other side Firo with I think a marksman Vanguard setup. They've got pretty
Yeah.
good Saya items, and they have that double Ginsu for Aphelios in the future that is currently resting on that Jin. But oh wow.
Yeah,
Just one
that's
more second
close.
of that Zaya cast and they would have cleared that board, but Cell does pick up a win, and that's really not what you want to see for Firo. They don't have the HP to afford that loss. And we're seeing augment selection here for Cell. 3 alright options. I do
Yeah.
believe Street Demons can take pair of 4s if you opt to only play that. Um,
Yeah, divert,
oh,
like, with Nico and, Brand,
yes,
but...
Nico and Brand as your only forecast, but I think generally most people choose not to take it, yes, because they would like to ideally also play that.
Reinforcement, yes! I love gambling!
All right, they've taken reinforcement and
Oh
immediately
my
hit the brand.
god! Oh!
Oh my gosh. So
I'm
not only
so
do they not
mad, I'm
skip
secondhand mad.
any, not only do they not have to skip any forecast that they see that they might want in favor of taking the more imperative ones like that Nico and that Brent. Wow, and an instant Nico on
Baldy,
that
don't
second
look.
roll. If we could check in with Baldy Boy here just for a comparison after this round. Uh,
Oh, no! Oh, Brand!
they do have that one brand, and I believe that is also Nico 2 on their bench. It just needs to upgrade on this next round. And also, I will point out that the brand items are looking much better for Baldy Boy than Cell, so that level disadvantage might be able to be a bit skewed out of favor. Um, Having that only that one brand is definitely an issue, but I will also note that they have hit that Samira, which is definitely a very big like difference maker in these fights, having that secondary carry that your brand can rely on besides himself.
Yeah, I mean, it
Going
it it
pretty
it
deep
looks
here.
kinda
Oh,
disgusting.
okay, and they do hit that Nico too. Most
Oh
likely
my
gonna
god.
slow down their roll here. Not the greatest roll down that you were looking for Volley Boy, mostly because all of the brands that they were looking for were immediately taken out of the pool by that reinforcement immediately hitting what they were looking for. But definitely still a pretty good position for Baldy Boy. They have that sniper's focus that we were talking about, and they have a 2-star front line that can stall for this brand to deal their massive damage. We're actually seeing the battle between these two Street Demon
Yeah, and
teams.
it's not close, unfortunately.
Yeah, this sniper's focus on the brand is just, even though it is a level down on the other brand, it just does so much extra damage that we are seeing a bit of a smackdown here from Baldy Boy. It will be interesting to see if they settle on this brand one, and try to go level 9 with the strength that they have now in comparison to the other boards. For now, they should be winning every round that they get into, unless someone
If
has hit
Baldy
a
Boy gets that
crazy
Samira, I
round.
swear.
It's very possible since they
Yeah, I
they've
know, it's
lost so
looking
many
like it.
rounds.
It's looking like it. No!
They
Oh!
opt for the tier instead. There might be
I think they
a
want
important
Shojin on
item. A
Samira or
Shojin?
something,
I
yeah.
see. Well,
I
although to
actually
be
don't know what
fair,
Biss is on Samira.
usually it will be 280 items. Double IE is not bad, though normally it's not realistic. Shojin optional. Most of the time, it's better to put 3 just offensive items to get that as much power as you can stack on as possible. Oh, and getting that shiv is actually a very big deal. Reducing that magic resist for that brand to absolutely nuke the board is very important for this comp, and I had not noticed that they didn't have that before. Honestly, a very good eye from Baldy Boy to prioritize that itemization over a pair of Samiras, which might not even end up paying out, because if they don't hit
Yeah.
that other Samira, that's just 5 gold sitting on their bench.
Also, it's just 2-star Ziggs. I think that's just like crazy that you have that. Like,
They did roll quite a bit on level 8. They
yeah.
just did not hit what they were looking for, as they are contested at this moment. We are seeing a very strong board from Firo. They have that 2-star marksman on both sides, 2-star Aphelios, 2-star Saya, all with fairly good items, and
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh, that Aphelios.
ooh,
Yeah. Oh.
barely beats it. And that is what we're seeing here. That's the difference between having that brand 1 and that brand 2. There's just not quite enough power to kill that board fast enough, and the Aphelios and Saya get enough time to kill that front line that you're kind of relying on with your only two um only real itemized four cost 2-star.
Yeah, and with it seems like those Aphelios buffs really buffed him to like elite status. I mean, I remember fielding him beforehand on like a flatline comp, and it just kind of seemed underwhelming, even with 2 Rage Blades. But right now, he just
Yeah,
kind of slamming.
I remember the stats that I was looking at for Aphelios were a little depressing, as someone who is clearly built around the idea of having that double Ginsus and stacking up into that late part of the round and winning out. Where the item stats were honestly sometimes better to just not even bother with the Ginsus and just stack normal AD items, as if his ability is really what you're playing around. But these days with the buff, he does have that potential to carry, whereas in the past it might have been much more focused on that Zaya carry. Volleyball does end up winning his final round of stage 4, so oh, and hitting a Kabuko is definitely what you want to see in
Ooh.
a position like this, where you're not too optimistic about winning out here, but uh yeah, this is definitely what they want to see. If we could move over to uh, maybe something we haven't looked at as much, like uh hmm. Yeah, we can check in with, I'm sorry, I can't read.
Sejuani is an interesting spot given she has a locket, but I guess it is a minion round.
Yeah, I we'll see if that's what the positioning they've chosen. Oh, and for anyone who's forgotten, the portal for this game is the stage 5 augment. So anyone who is in a bit of a rough spot is looking for something to turn their game around here, and anyone in a great spot is looking for something to really cement that. Um,
Ooh.
we are seeing uh
2-star Sej.
2-star Sedge is huge here, and even more important, that 2-star Vex, that's that damage that they've been most likely lacking in these rounds that we've missed. Also, a Zac 2 coming out.
Oh my.
It
Oh. Okay.
really just on level 8 is definitely extremely. Oh, they have, okay, they have Kimon and Anvil here, and they still have to open these, so it's
Yeah, and
getting
with
a
grab
bit in the
bag,
way
I
of their
feel
rollback.
like yeah, it is. I feel like you're gonna see just some really good items on Sejuani once these anvils actually pop.
Yeah, getting the choices to make getting to be able to make those choices for what items you have so much more freely with these anvils most likely is gonna end up with the itemization they want on almost all their units. Especially since they can prioritize getting almost exclusively tank items here. Oh, while we haven't been looking, that is a 3-star Aphelios on Firo's board.
Wait, what? Oh my god.
If we could check in with that push real quick. Firo has, well, under our noses, I did
Oh!
not even see any on the bench.
Just in the
Oh,
background.
they've taken reinforcement for their stage 5 roll down and rolled down until they hit an Aphelios. I assume they've had maybe an Aphelios 2 on their bench as well as the Aphelios 2 on their board. And just combining those to with the reinforcement immediately gets you that 3-star Aphelios. And now the onus is on the rest of the lobby. Can they either hit another 3-star 4 cost or some other maybe like 10 vertical just to even at all rival this board?
Yeah,
Otherwise,
I mean,
Firo has almost entirely won this game.
they just need to find like another like linchpin to match that one. Like I can imagine like maybe Baldy Boy getting like the 2-star Samira could do it, or just I really don't know.
I think I think the issue with this 3-star forecast is that genuinely all of the ways that you cap out your board that you're expecting from these rounds, where it's like hitting those 2-star 5 costs or getting to level 9, they're almost entirely invalidated. It really takes something on equal footing of a 3-star forecast almost always to beat something like this, especially that forecast that they've been like building their board around. This is a 3-star forecast with 4 marksmen and that 2-star Leona with 4 vanguard. Even without the 3-star forecast, this would already be a strong board. So taking it down will require almost an impossible ask from these other players. And really, for anyone who had been lost streaking early and definitely didn't conserve HP as much as maybe like Don Juan or Cell here, it's this is like the opposite of what you want
Yeah.
to do, because there's no hope at the end of the tunnel anymore. If there's a Grim Reaper in the lobby, as soon as you fight Firo, you know your chances are over. And there's multiple
1
people who
million
are looking to be
chakrams.
on 1 life any minute now, and even Winner Snitchel going out a bit early here. We will see Yue and Winner Snitchel go out in 8th and 7th in these last 2 rounds.
Bro.
And really, it's about who's next on the chopping block. The Reapers come to town.
Yeah, it's rough because you can probably bet that Yaya and Wiener probably had like some scaling comps that they were really hoping to pop at some point, but like it just kind of doesn't matter because this Aphelios is here, you know, and he's throwing a bunch of shotguns, handing them out like it's like business cards.
Yeah, not really much you can do about this at this point. I mean, uh, props to Firo for finding that creative line by using that reinforcements to get that 3-star forecast, where normally it would have taken. I think finding 3 forecasts at the amount that they would owned, and a few affiliates being owned by other players would have been like around 140 gold on average. Hitting that in one swoop is insane play, especially that something that was only
Yeah, the
possible.
question mark.
Question mark coming out from Volley Boy. It's very unfortunate spot. However, they have dodged Firo for the time being.
Oh my goodness. Oh, yeah, please pan away from that. I don't want to watch that. That. No, 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 no. Oh
Yeah,
my
this Aphelios
goodness.
strength is really it's not gonna be contested anytime soon. We're seeing some of these other boards uh that don't quite have that strength of that 3-star forecast fighting around here. OG Don Juan had been building this sort of Twisted Fate reroll comp. They have hit everything they wanted, including that 3-star Darius and that 3-star Twisted Fate, but just the strength of these other boards in the lobbies, even disregarding that 3-star Aphelios, that's these street teaming comps, which either have like almost entirely upgraded boards or that sniper's focus on the side of Baldy Boy. It's definitely not the easiest thing to overcome, especially with at a comp like Aphelios.
Yeah, and this Aphelios is only getting stronger too. Not that it matters. I feel like the Golden Ox damage amp like increases are kind of overkill at this point.
Oh, for sure. I mean, especially with the itemization they have and the ultimate
Oh
cast
yeah.
from
Oh
Aphelios,
my.
which is just
I
gonna
mean, that was
absolutely demolish
closer than
anything.
most.
I guess you take what you can get at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you want to do as much damage. I mean, if you're at something like 14, 16 health, like getting swept by that board is just gonna kill you. So like maybe try and take like 4 people with you so you have a round left.
One thing I do want to point out here is it OG Don Juan is playing for that 3-star forecast. They've got 6 MFs currently if you include the one in the shop. They only need 3 more, and they've spent all of these rounds in stage 5 just losing and building up that econ in the hope um that they can hit that 3-star forecast and maybe beat the Aphelios board.
I mean, that could
It's
do
a
it.
very do or die strategy you can see here, because by saving all this money and not like rolling on level 8 to maybe strengthen your board even just a little bit, they've taken all this damage, which means that at this point, all they can rely on is that 3-star forecast. They haven't been saving HP in these other rounds like Baldy Boy and Ruffle Hubble have by just beating the non-Aphelios boards and conserving that HP to play for maybe a second or third. And that really does matter in a competition like this, where every point that you get just takes you any small step closer to that checkmate. Running out of
I mean,
time here, they
I
only
think
have
it's the right
7.
move.
It is definitely oh, that's heartbreaking. Not only to see that MF in the shop and skip through it, but also
Yeah.
know that it wouldn't have even been enough. They would only have found 8 on this, I think, 100 gold roll down, which is, again, like I said, it usually takes much more than 100 gold to hit these 3-star forecasts on average. So
Baldy finally met the Grim Reaper, but he's not dead.
yeah, that's really what like that's what like the payoff of playing Temple in that early game is, and really it's all gonna come down to the matchups we see here now. If we can cut to Firo, whoever Firo goes up against, with every player in the lobby besides them being at 1 HP, it's really the almost exclusively the decider
It's a
of
gamble.
what placement
It's a
we get.
gamble. Some people are just gonna gain LP, and some people are just gonna lose it. This isn't ranked. They're gonna get points, but you know.
Yeah, there is no LP on the line here, but honestly, even more importantly, there's tournament points on the line here. The difference between a 5th place here and a 2nd place is
Oh
so
no.
much, and we are gonna see a Ruffle Huffle going into this the Terminator. Really,
Yeah.
it's not that exciting of a fight to watch, I'm sure, for our spectators, but it is sad to see. Almost shoe in for 5th place here will be Ruffle. Oh, I I think Ruffle Huffle actually had taken last
Well,
stand, which means
oh,
that
that's perfect.
they've saved
That's-
one placement. I don't know if they took this they take this armament so early in the game. I doubt they were playing with the 3-star Aphelios in mind, but that has saved them one extra placement, and we actually see Rockwave going to 5th place here. So still not the best spot for Ruffle Huffle, but I will point out, since they have just procced their last stand by fighting Firo here, I I think with the way that the fights work out, they shouldn't be fighting them again, which means they have a pretty good chance of actually making it to top 3 here.
yeah,
And
popping
we
the
are going to
second.
see Ruffle versus Baldy Boy, which means, unfortunately, that Cell is fighting that 3-star Aphelios, and most likely
Oh no,
will
my
be
cheapy
out here.
Gwen.
And really, if we're assuming that's true, which it was just proven on the side, this is a fight for 2nd place or 3rd, depending on your HP count.
Ruffle
Oh,
got it.
and let's see the damage numbers. Oh, Baldy Boy barely did not kill enough units, and Cell will be taking 3rd, and Baldy Boy is going 4th here. And Ruffle Huffle, exclusively from that taking of the last stand augment, actually has secured themselves 2nd place.
That's crazy. That is like
Honestly,
once in a season occurrence. Like,
going from 5th to 2nd off of one augment take that you picked on stage 3, and this is stage 6 now where it's paying off. That's really just honestly beautiful to see. And they are actually playing for the win here. They're rolling down
yeah,
for the
they're getting
purple.
insurance, is what it is. Like,
I, just in case maybe Ruffle Huffle had been getting that 3-star forecast, they're actually going for a 2nd one. So, you know, not gonna
yeah, I
happen, but
mean,
really
you have
doesn't
a two
matter.
star, you have a 2-star 5 cost and the 3-star Aphelios on that board. I feel like it's a no contest, even with the last stand stats, and I think we've all accepted that.
I don't know. I like to hold out hope in this sort of situation.
Go Urgot.
Maybe this Urgot 2 with 3 items is actually the strongest unit in the game, and Aphelios 3 is gonna
Oh,
crumble under the raw might of. Okay, never mind. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, not the most exciting final fight or the climactic ending that we're looking for, but generally just really exactly what you want to see of your Ruffle Huffle, to be honest.
Yeah, you
Um,
got exactly what you could have gotten. It's literally best case scenario
at
from
2nd
Ruffle Huffle
place,
here.
after that Aphelios joined the lobby and there was really no hope of anyone else winning, is that 2nd place is exactly what they wanted in this spot.
Yeah, that Aphelios walked by the security guard, and the security guard just like, whoa, man. Okay, yeah, go in. Sorry.
Damn. It's really not every game that you see decided like that, where there's just one board in the lobby that is almost impossible to defeat, actually.
Yeah, no, it's and I feel like it's even less where you see the last stand deciding how many points you get, pretty much.
Yeah, most of the time when you're taking that last stand augment, you're expecting to proc it much sooner in the game, and
Hmm.
then using those stat boosts, and also most of the time you're going to be running something like Cypher, and then you can hope to get 1st place with that extra strength. Um, But in this case, they really just saved one extra placement.
Yeah, I mean, it's as much as this match was a non-compete for first place at some point, it was still really interesting to see some of those break points hit with that 3-star Felios and that last stand procking and getting Ruffles that placement.
Yeah, a very fun interaction to see for that like 3-point placement difference. And before we head into our next game, we are going to be hitting a small ad break here, I believe. So we'll see you on the other side.
Today I'm going to introduce AVerMedia's Versatico,
a USB cardioid microphone.
We're a club that's you know, our goal is to encompass a competitive gaming scene.
They requested you.
I know what I must do.
Now go.
They don't really have a... Oh, huge shatter!
And the lamp will come out, but the backline will not die as Tai a little bit overextending, but does find the pin on a bowl of dog.
It literally said 27, I unplugged it as 11.
Damn, you burned that shit. You burned through as fast.
I loaded up the training grounds and it's over.
Oh,
Huh. What my games look like.
Why?
Pod is still alive, but the Sheep card is ultimate going once again, and that is a triple kill for Sheep.
Wait, he missed lamp. Wait, because.
Oh, I got one.
No back to it, no back to it.
I'm tilted in the TDM. It's over, guys. It's over.
Do I have to? Yeah, I gotta go in the DM?
Go. There's 4 peeking me. Okay.
Alright, once it queues, I'll go.
We have a lot of gamers on campus. Why, oh why, do we not have a gaming center on campus?
Oh, come on!
Yeah, I know!
Bro, like, what are you doing? Like, we gotta get to class. Like, what are you doing? My bad. Yeah, come on. Stupid, bro.
Alright, okay, yeah.
Clear the palette.
Yeah.
Red Bull. We're a club that we're a club that's you know, our goal is to encompass a competitive gaming scene.
They requested you.
I know what I must do.
Now go.
They don't really have a... Oh, huge shatter!
And the lamp will come out, but the backline will not die as Tai a little bit overextending, but does find the pin on a bowl of dog.
It literally said 27. I unplugged it as 11.
Damn, you burned that shit. You burned through as fast.
I loaded up the training grounds. It's over.
We're live.
And we're back. Welcome back to the TFT finals being streamed live on Twitch. We're going into game 2 now. Points have been tallied up, and we have Firo and Ruffle Huffle now tied for first with 15 points. Remember, our checkmate is 22 points, so that's all they need to get that check for the rest of the lobby.
And it is going to be so interesting to see if that last stand is going to be a tournament decider. I'm kind of hoping on it. I think it would be really unique, you know.
Yeah, it's definitely not anything we were expecting, but I mean, with the points that they had coming into this tournament, with what they got from intramurals being highest in the lobby at 8, I think they didn't need that to have a good chance of winning the rest of the tournament, but it's definitely not gonna hurt their chances.
Yeah.
And again, I just want to say thank you to AVerMedia for sponsoring our TFT tournament. Again, our first place winner is taking home a PW513 4K webcam. Amazing. Their products cater to needs of anyone like streamers, content creators, and professionals seeking efficient remote communication tools. Remember, use !AVerMedia in the chat to learn more at any time during the stream.
Awesome.
Because I've been pretty flexible with my body for most of my life.
I think you should give it a try. Animal Squad. That's an Animal Squad board. I see it.
Yeah, they could opt into that vein rule or even Animal Squad vertical. Has not been as neither of these comps have been as strong as they have been in the past few patches after like a series of nerfs going through. But
yeah, Animal Squad has been kind of gutted.
Yeah, definitely not the strongest thing, but I will say the early game board is still just as strong as it's always been. I think more of the later stages of the vertical have been nerfed in the past, so getting this trait in the early game definitely could be something to play around if you're going for that 5 streak. If we could cut over to some other boards just to see what's going on. We got a 2-star Rost in the shop by OG Don Juan here, as well as a champ duplicator, so most likely gonna want to I mean, you could play around this for tempo if you want, but it could help with any reroll comp they try to go to. I think if it somehow happens to be, if they hit alt, that's what I was about to say, if they hit alt here with a gold augment. It's gonna be trait black market, trait glitch here. So the left augment has 3 chances.
Oh, you get the artifact though.
Forge, and there are a few good options here. Depends on really what they want to go to. Their one item on bench is a Hand of Justice. So going for more of one of those AD. Oh, and they've taken Lichbane, so they're going to be playing for most likely Vex in this spot. Although they could opt to play that Street Demon as well. But generally speaking, the main thing is that they're going to be playing AV. And I think just taking, instead of slamming that item right now, they're going to be using this tier that they have on their bench as the basis for the fact that they'll most likely be able to hit a blue buff at some point. And that's really what allows Vex really to be built. And they're almost most likely just going to be going to that Vex Vex Exotech board that we saw get 2nd place last game with that last stand. So definitely not a slouch.
I'm checking Firo's board, our 3-star Aphelios veteran, and he got flatline.
Oh wow! So they're gonna be going to that marksman comp yet again.
Nothing ever changes.
It was a very popular comp that we saw in the intramurals that were not streamed. Many of these players opted to choose marksman vanguards. Like there's usually at least one every game. So it's not the most surprising to see, but it's interesting that in the new patch it has not changed. And yeah, I think for OG Don Juan here, it's not like the most important thing for them to maintain this streak. If anything, like they can actually, because they've hit this 2-star Ross, but not having an upgraded backline and just having a Lich Bane on this Morgana is not the most a confidence-inspiring thing. They have gone into 2 pretty weak boards here though, so they will at least get a 2 streak. But I mean, we're seeing more of the same from Baldy Boy, going for a loss streak here, and they've taken BRB, I believe, which gives them 2 item anvils. So basically just sacrificing a few games of your early game, a few rounds of your early game just to get that power spike. Oh, wow. Okay. Morgana 2 coming out from OG Don Juan here. And now I think there's a pretty real chance that they can maybe get that 5 streak. It depends on the rest of the lobby strength, so I think if we could check in with Rockwave and Firo, we can see what their competitors have in store. Firo has taken this marksman augment, actually, flatline, but their actual board has only 1 upgrade unit in that Kindred, and they've pre-leveled to level 5, but I do believe, if my board evaluation is correct, that OG Don Juan will be able to win this, just based off that Ross 2, which is such a strong unit in the early game. Yeah, I think that Morgana upgrade was really the nail in the coffin, and now OG Don Juan, really, there's only one person who I assume can have a say in whether they get that 5 streak, which is going to be Rockwave. Not entirely sure what their board is, but I've seen flashes of it, and it doesn't look weak, at least. And if you are Firo here, I'm assuming they're going for the sword here, because marksmen rely on that so much. Getting a 3-cost sword is honestly probably best case scenario. They're getting this eye edge that's useful on almost any marksman you put it on. It's most of the time their best item, unless you're Aphelios. And as well as 3 gold to make your early game stronger, and hitting that Jinx. Like, basically exactly what you want to see. And it's a bit late, as they have fought the other 100 streaker the round before, but I'm pretty solid in saying that they have a good chance to get these next 2 rounds. If we could cut over to Rockwave, we can see our other, I guess, competitor for this.
It's a Street Demon board.
5 streak. They do.
But I don't think that wins. I don't think that wins against Don Juan.
This doesn't. So, and unfortunately, they are going right into it, and Don Juan is leveled to 5 here. I think Rockwave had been generally just going against weak boards. They've stayed on level 4, have not gone level 5, but while they're most likely going to lose this round with maybe one unit or 2 units at most killed, they have 37 gold on bench. So while Don Juan here is winning every round and getting this 5 streak, which is setting them up for a pretty good tempo into stage 3, I believe Rockwave should most likely have the most money, unless Baldi or Interstitial have been selling their board and going full open. So honestly, still a really good spot for Rockwave here. And if they are going to lean into this Street Demon board, everything is looking great for it. They have that tier for the Shojin. They have a open rod for any sort of AP item. And also, I would like to note that their support item, Shield of Aegis, is actually perfectly positioned here. Well, not perfect, but almost the exact shape of a support item that you would want, with the Street Demon type of board that they've gotten, that I guess like upside down V and the space in the middle. The Shield of Aegis will hit almost every unit on your board if you're keeping in with this Street Demon positioning that the game gives you.
Yeah, the only thing you really have to worry about is that there are 2 other people contesting it. We've got Wiener Schnitzel and Baldi Boy on it as well.
Honestly, I guess being triple contested is maybe, if I could say, just like the expectation when you're going into this Street Demon comp, which has been, I think, running the meta. At least is the comp to beat at the moment, I would say. Surprising that we not surprising, but it was interesting that we only had 2 people running it. I think 2 to 3 contestants is kind of the expectation when you're running a board like this, which it's so strong that it's kind of worth dealing with that in most cases. But it does run the risk where you could go into that 4-2 roll down and hit absolutely nothing and immediately go 8, which unfortunately, fortunately has not happened for any of our people running Street Demon in the past game, but we'll see if it happens now. They get that sword for Shojin, which is what they were looking for. I'm interested to see if they kind of stick with this low tempo econing and kind of conserve all the money they can, or try to do like a quick roll down on this level as they're getting that loot subscription. It is going to be a spatula.
Ooh.
Wow, and on the Street Demon comp, getting that extra Street Demon most of the time going on either Ziggs or some frontline unit is a huge deal. And for players that aren't playing as vertical of a comp, like that Vex Exotech, most likely gonna go Divinate Core. The Street Demon's most likely gonna just go a Street Demon Spatula. But anyone who's rolling maybe a reroll comp or I guess something that doesn't rely on a vertical as much. Wait a minute.
Is that?
I believe that Rockwave is either pivoting or has made a misclick because that is an Anima Squad spatula.
I mean, they're holding on to a Yuumi. I was thinking about the Yuumi as maybe they were going strategists, but they put the Anima Squad emblem on, so
I'd like
I
to
don't
give
know.
the benefit of the doubt that this is not a mistake, but definitely based off the fact that they had their team planner almost entirely comprised of Street Demon units, that is a heartbreaking misclick, especially seeing tagging spree.
Tagging spree. Oh no.
Selection.
Can we have player interviews? I don't know.
I mean, I think it's safe to assume that was a misclick, which is just really the worst case scenario. They're gonna have to do their best to just, I think, it seems like they're still choosing to just play this Street Demon comp and just hope that being down one spatula of the rest of the lobby is not going to be an issue, but wow, that's heartbreaking. I think we can check in with some other players, see what spatulas they slam. Maybe no misclicks over there. But we're gonna see Wiener Schnitzel here, also running that Street Demon comp, as you said. They've actually gotten a frying pan on the side, so they're not able to build that Street Demon spatula. But that is actually because they have Pandora's Bench, my bad. So it will immediately reroll into a spatula next round, and whenever they hit that rod that they're looking for, they will be able to make the Street Demon spatula, excuse me, that they're looking for. So very nice to see out of Wiener Schnitzel, but what's not nice to see is the current state of their HP. They're at 67, our lowest health player, so every win that they can get in the stage 3 is going to matter a lot. And going into Rockwave immediately, whose board strength has been diminished a bit by that Anima Squad spatula misplay, is definitely what you're looking for.
And I just saw Yeya's board, and Yeya actually has one of my favorite comps, Syndicate Rapid Fire.
And that's a comp that actually definitely helps to have that Syndicate spatula. It adds some stats to your units, but what you really want to see when you're running this Syndicate board and you get a spatula off the portal is if you can get that third augment to be Syndicate spatula, 7 Syndicate can win out pretty frequently if no higher vertical is hit. It's definitely a board that's playing for first place. I think if they don't hit that 7 Syndicate, they're more likely playing for maybe a third or a fourth, a second if they're really lucky or play really well, but against these verticals, it's definitely the extra stat is helping the others a lot more.
Yeah, and to clarify as well, Cell is going for that too.
Oh, Cell is also going for Twisted Fate?
It looks like a Golden Ox Syndicate board. I saw the Annie with a Syndicate emblem on her. So
I see. Well, I'm sure both of those players would love to hit something powerful like 7 Syndicate, but it is just gonna depend on what the lobby gives them. And I've seen sometimes this Urgot portal, which is so high variance, could genuinely just give a second spatula coming anytime soon on this next stage or something like that. Which
I'm surprised that MF went unpicked until the very last round.
Yeah, it could be that some of these players were not really looking for the item that was on it, at like prioritizing making these items that fit into their boards rather than the unit itself. But I mean, we are seeing here Cell have the item that they were looking for, which is that Ginsu. So it's definitely a bit late to be hitting the most E item on that Twisted Fate reroll, but I think all things considered, Cell is definitely not the spot they're looking for. They have hit that Syndicate emblem, which they got from the Urgot portal, but they have only hit their first Ginsu just now. And by taking Starry Night on 2-1, it's the expectation that you're gonna hit faster than the other people in your lobby. And only having 2 Twisted Fates right now is definitely below the curve in terms of what you're expecting with the rolls that you're gonna get from this. They're gonna need to win every round they can to buy more time for this Starry Night, or at least save HP with a loss like that, where they've killed most of the units on the board. But this is definitely not the most encouraging spot to be in if you're Cell in this situation.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like you just kind of you threw items on Ross just to throw items, you know? Like I don't know if that if the Steadfast Heart is like the best item there.
Yeah, Vanguards, generally speaking, care a lot about raw stats, because the trait itself gives you that damage resistance, which is multiplicative with base stats like that armor, and magic resist, and health. Health less so, but getting something like a Bramble Vest or something would be ideal. However, I will say, having just any 2-star frontline like this with 2 pretty passable, even good in most cases, tank items is definitely a huge benefit to this board, especially when you have something like this Ginsu TF, which needs time. And I think it's buying all the time you could really ask for at this point, especially when you haven't been hitting the tanks that you usually will use, like that Darius 2, sometimes even Braum 2 if you can. But I think Ross is definitely maybe one of the sole reasons that Cell has stayed at the 63 HP threshold, which is above 3 other people in the lobby. They're gonna level here, so it seems like they're playing more for maybe a 5 Syndicate board, maybe play around that MF more, seeing that you haven't hit the TF you're looking for. Although they could also be thinking they're playing around this Braum 3 and hoping that Starry Night is enough to hit those 3-star 2 costs like the TF. We'll have to see what they choose in the future, but for now I think we could check in with Firo, who is currently our 2nd HP player, right below
Flatline Monarch.
Flatline Marksman. So it's not hard to see what comp they're going to, but what is hard to see is how they're gonna benefit.
Houseman of Ascension. Aw, we don't have fun here.
I think in a comp like this, it's really not at all.
Yeah. It's usually not generally.
I think there are very few comps where Talisman of Ascension works out. I have seen myself playing what's it called? The Gragas hero augment with Talisman of Ascension. That does win out sometimes, but
I've really tried. I really tried making it work earlier on a button mash comp, but I think taking button mash was my first mistake.
Honestly, quite a low roll coming out from Firo here. They're hitting the whole lobby will be getting these artifact anvils from the Urgot. So getting something that doesn't really help your most important units, like these Aphelios or this future Zaya. The Trickster's Glass will add a little bit of frontline, hopefully putting on a 2-star Vanguard, but it's not gonna swing your board the way you want to. And I think, generally speaking, picking this Marksman augment has paid out maybe the opposite that they're looking for. Loot subscription has given them a spatula, which is not what you want to see if you're playing this Marksman comp, which is because it's not going for any vertical that relies on it. Like Vanguard or Marksman, those don't really benefit from the spatula. And also getting this artifact anvil, there's very few items that you really want to see out of that, like in comparison to the rest of them. And it is true in this case, they did not hit what they're looking for. They are going to take Pandora's Bench and Stand United, which I can only assume is mostly for that. Pandora's Bench. Stand United is giving okay value here with that 6 trait synergy board, thanks to the Aurora. But that Pandora's Bench is seemingly just going to be playing for another 3-star 4 cost. So it's not looking amazing in terms of the time that they have to hit these, but at the very least, they're hoping to hit the 2-star forecast from this bench to
I believe
stabilize
in
their
that.
board and buy time for them to get to that first place quota, I guess. Not looking great this round though, as they're fighting a 2-star Rengar, so it's not met its full potential. But you can see here, yes, they're playing that Jinx and Rengar reroll. So they're gonna have a Executioner Jinx off that spatula, which is exactly what you want to see from that loop subscription, and also getting a Sniper's Focus, which was also from the loop subscription. Oh,
You know,
okay, amazing turn from
Yeah,
Fury.
wow. That is wonderful.
Yeah, they hit the unit they've been kind of waiting on with the Xayah that gives them that 4th marksman that they want to see, and also hitting that Leona in shop allows you to combine with the one that was in your Pandora's bench. So huge swing turn from them, and they're going to be placing these tank items onto the Leona instead for that extra front line. So this hopefully it really needs to be where Firo turns things around, because they don't have the HP to spare to wait any longer for this board to really change. And I think it's a little bit greedy to hold on to this champ duplicator instead of using it now, because it could give them that Aphelios 2, which could swing rounds, but I think the thought process
Strong
has
enough.
to be that if your board is strong enough, and they were right in this case, but if your board is strong enough, you gotta play for that 3-star forecast with the Pandora's bench and just hope that the duplicator is the linchpin for you to get that first place. And they will have first pick on this lobby. This carousel here. So they're most likely just gonna take that Renekton for the Gunblade on their Aphelios, or go for the, I think maybe bow here, but whatever the glove on the Xayah is gonna turn into, yeah, for the Last Whisper, I believe, on Xayah for that 3rd item.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Biss on Xayah.
It is, yes. But in a lobby like this, you're kind of hoping to get something better. There's been a spatula and a artifact anvil put into every person's board, and just getting the default best in slot with that eye edge and that Shojin, it's not best case scenario for sure. They're gonna hit another Leona and another Xayah, so their chances of hitting their forecasts are rising by the minute, but not having these 2-star versions of Xayah and Aphelios is not the most comfortable place to be in, especially with 33 HP. Well, we can check in with Wiener Schnitzel here, who I believe is our lowest HP player, and they are unfortunately also tied for last place in the tourney as a whole, so they really need to turn it around here. I'm interested to see what board they're kind of working with.
I mean, those items on brand are a bit unfortunate.
Yeah, you're really hoping to pair with that guard breaker at JG, since it scales off of that crit chance. But I think more so than the items, not having that 2-star brand is really getting punished by. Is really the punishment that you're getting as a consequence of being contested so hard. And we're seeing Cell beat them with actually 8 Dravens. So they're actually playing for not just a standard.
They just hit a 3-star.
They just hit 3-star Draven. We can see Cell's board over here. A pretty good spot to, I think, stabilize here. While a lot of these level 8 boards are kind of finding their footing, and you could see at the moment there, Wiener Schnitzel's still rolling for those 2-stars that they need with only 13 HP left. Cell here has hit 3-star units for their reroll comp, which hopefully the idea would be to get as much HP advantage as you can here by winning all these rounds on stage 4, as they've run 3, maybe we're about to see 4 out of these 5 rounds in stage 4. And really it's just like, this is the strongest I think you're gonna be in comparison to the other comps, unless you hit that Syndicate 5 cash out, I guess.
Yeah, Wiener Schnitzel's just against a 3-star Rengar right now, and they're just at 2 health. It's a bit rough.
Yeah, especially since you're fighting this Rengar and you haven't even hit your 2-star brand. Oh,
you just
never mind,
hit
they have. The egg does cash out though, based on that loss.
Yeah.
So if they're gonna save any placements, it has to be right now. It would be just honestly like the least they could ask for, to at least outplace this this misclick, I guess we could say, from the other Street Demon board, Rockwave, currently 2nd least HP, and honestly it's hard to not know why, as they unfortunately had slammed that Anima squad spatula as we saw earlier in the game. I believe.
Yeah, I mean,
Winner Sigil-
hopefully with this anvil they can get a good item on that Viego they just got.
Yeah, there's a few ways they can make this work. But we're gonna see Rockwave here. 1 round away from being deceased. They've leveled to 9 here with the hope that it'll, I guess, make them strong enough to stay alive in this. But they're gonna make one last spatula, and it's gonna be a strategist emblem. Okay, so they're playing around 4 strategists and 7 street demon.
I'm going crazy. Why isn't Wiener popping these anvils? Like,
They could be maybe overwhelmed by the choices, but
yeah,
it's really, this is definitely the least the worst time to be concerned with choice, as you are in that 2 HP. You need to win every round. It's a close one here. I believe their front line should be strong enough to stall for this brand. And yeah, they are gonna last 1 more round, and we'll see. I believe that means that yes, Rockwave will be going A. It really is a tragic loss, I think, because that Animal Squad spatula really just matters.
yeah.
So much
I think that felt like about the opposite of a linchpin, you know?
Yeah, I will say there's not much you can do in that spot, but it's heartbreaking in a tournament like this to be making a move like that. But Wiener Schnitzel does still have a chance. They're gonna need to win every round if they want to secure another footing here. Honestly, any round that they can get is gonna be important, as with how low they are in the score sheet, they need.
They're against Firo's flatline comp. I just don't think it's happening.
They have a bit of an advantage from the spatulas they've gotten, compared to how flatline doesn't really allow you to build any. But... Oh, that was such a close round. We could see Brand absolutely demolish the backline there. There was not a single standing.
I think with like just a little bit more, literally that Jarvan alive. Like, I think Firo won while the Brand projectile was traveling.
Yeah, it's really just like a battle of the margins, right? Like if one more item that you wanted, or one difference in positioning could have led Wiener Schnitzel to get 1 more round, but the spot they were in was not the most amazing. And
yeah, I mean, you've got to be kicking
Heroes
yourself.
on actually a win streak, so
yeah,
they actually have a pretty good chance to take this whole thing home, especially if they hit that 3-star forecast. But I mean, we should be able to see these spatula comps be a little stronger in the future. And we can check in with Baldy Boy here. They have a 3-star Rengar and a 2-star Jinx. So they're clearly going for that 3-star Jinx. They've got Pandora's Bench going here. But I think the lack of that second carry is really what's keeping them from being able to keep up with boards like Cells, which has that 2 carry board. They've managed to hit TF3 on level 7, which is definitely not standard how you play that.
Yeah,
they were rolling on level 7. They also hit this 3-star Draven for even more strength. They've had that second carry.
Yeah, but I believe they hit the Draven a bit before they hit the TF, just because the TF is contested and it's at level 7.
That makes sense, but I think having that Starry Night was really what allowed them to make that play. It's a pretty good heads up play, like keeping in mind that your augment allows you to scale more, because the effect of Starry Night and the odds of finding those upgraded units in your shop actually increases with what level you are. So while it's less common to find the Twisted Fates that you're looking for because of that being level 8, when you do find those Twisted Fates, there's a higher chance that they'll be upgraded already, and allows you to hit that 3-star unit a lot earlier.
I believe Yeya's holding on, like at some point was holding on to Aphelios's just to contest them.
You would hope that after the game we just saw, that these players would be a little more wary of Firo hitting that 3-star again. It would be quite amusing if, due to this Pandora's Bench, Firo was able to win twice in a row with 3-star forecast.
Fell for it again award.
Well, yeah, we'll just have to see. This 2-star Jinx is honestly dealing quite a bit of damage, and hitting that Urgot is also adding a lot to this Executioner's board. I do believe that Baldy will be in a pretty good spot to get a really good placement here if they can hit that Jinx 3. They're just 1 Jinx away from, and you can see them rolling for it every round. I think if they don't hit it here, they just have to hope that they win the next round because they most likely will at least hit it before stage 6 starts with the extra money that they get from the creep round and the time that they get in these two rounds for Pandora's Bench to proc. But they're going to be playing this Aurora on their Pandora's Bench, just I believe hoping that it'll turn into an Urgot. Since an Urgot 2 would change the state of this board so much.
And what are those items? Can we get a look at those items on the Jinx? The Fishbones and Executioner's Emblem and a Sniper's Focus, I think.
Yeah,
that is insane.
Taking Portable Forge here, as well as getting that second artifact anvil from the loot subscription. This is definitely not the most conventional Jinx you're going to see, but the items are very good for what you're looking at. However,
What let that Jinx get clipped by the Rost ability? That is
I
interesting.
do have to point out that Firo once again has hit a 3-star forecast on account
of
this bench.
Dude.
We are seeing a Leona 3, so
I saw them building that up, and I was hoping it wouldn't pop, but
I will say this time they are not the they have gotten a Leona, which technically is is beatable.
But that's a Trickster's Glass gold
It is a
Leona.
Trickster's Glass
You have
Leona.
2 immune front lines.
And I will say the only real way that because this Leona is not going down. The win condition for the other boards has to now become either hitting another 3-star forecast like last time, or there are specific comps in this game that could deal with it. That Rengar could end up killing
killing everything else.
backline, and if they manage to kill everything else on the board, while Leona's the only thing standing, that Rengar does have enough Omnivamp to win it. But it would take multiple rounds of that happening, and I think Baldy Boy's board is not strong enough at the current moment, especially since that Rengar doesn't have any artifacts. They're all in their 3-star Jinx. It's not looking the most promising. Although, with the fight RNG, there is a chance that that Fishbones on the Jinx will end up just one-shotting a marksman in the back.
Yes,
so
true.
I think Baldy Boy has to be our only hope to beat this Leona, I would say. Otherwise, it's kind of looking over once again on account of this 3-star forecast.
Yeah, and that Trickster's Glass is just so much. Like it feels like overkill. Like you have 2 front lines, and I'm pretty sure that third. Yeah, no, like that the 3-star
Leona did not drop below 95% HP.
Oh my god.
It's gonna take a lot to beat this board.
It's gonna take a village.
And Baldy Boy, our one player who had very consistent backline access, has been knocked out by OG Don Juan. So they are going to take a 4th for this game. And now it more so seems like Cell and OG Don Juan are kind of playing for that 2nd place spot. And since Firo is going to be playing into OG Don Juan here, it's most likely going to shape up to be the exact standings that we're seeing at the current moment, with Firo going 1st, Cell getting 2nd, and OG Don Juan going 3rd. Which I will say, with Cell getting most likely I can say it's shoo-in for 1st, or at the least 2nd. They have hit the checkmate. They have hit check. So by getting 22 points for this tournament, if Firo gets 1 more 1st place, they just win the entire thing.
It would be a bit crazy if they got 3 1st places. Like.
Yeah, that 3 1st place in a row has only been done once in professional TFT for a checkmate format, and that has been by title, which is the fastest TFT worlds we've seen in history. So it would be pretty cool if Firo could manage to do the same thing in a casual tournament like this with 2 3-star forecasts in a row.
I feel wrong rooting for anyone here, but Firo has kind of won my heart over with just like keep going marksman, keep getting keep getting 3.
They came in with the game plan and they've stuck to it.
It's just the fact that they've got just twice, like everyone else is just gonna be hoarding forecasts like the next round in fear.
I think a big thing is that these players have not been really, I guess, like, spare for cash. Every player is almost exclusively just been on 0 gold trying to roll for these pairs. Since the Street Demon comps are all contesting each other, it's really hard to hit those units.
Yeah.
And all the reroll comps are using all their money to level and catch up with the rest of the board. No one's really playing these, like, high-tempo, like, Seri or Marksman comps that can really contest Firo for the money that they have. And I think in this game specifically, it was a lot of it being Pandora's Bench, giving you the ability to hit those 3-star 4 costs. So I think the augment taking there was most of what allowed them to do it in this case, but definitely in the last game. Actually, in both games, because in the first one they took what's it called? Reinforcement to hit that 3-star 4 cost. I think Firo has had a pretty consistent ability to spot ways to hit this out that normally you couldn't do without a specific augment. Like, you can't consistently play for a 3-star 4 cost unless you see like a way to it. Yeah. I think that is a pretty impressive thing to see.
I really love coping and saying this game is like all about luck and like gambling. I love gambling, I love gambling, I love gambling, but like you can't do this. Like, this is not lightning striking twice. Like, this is like everyone's like guard being down for this, you know.
Yeah, Firo has been placing pretty consistently well in the past in these intramural games. They have they're coming in with a 7 points, which is one below Ruffle Huffle, who had the most points coming in from intramurals. But the difference between them now being that Ruffle Huffle only getting a 7th in this game means that they're still 4 points away from checkmate, while Firo has already reached that. So Ruffle, Cell, and Cell are both at 18 and 19 points respectively. So one pretty good placement can get them straight to that checkmate. But for now, the rest of the lobby mostly just needs to focus on making sure that Firo does not get first place if they want a chance to win this, because Firo getting first place and the entire thing's over.
Yeah, we might be seeing people just like start contesting Firo, just like trying to stop them from getting that first place.
Yeah. Oftentimes in this checkmate format, what you end up seeing from these players is they will purposefully like contest the units that Firo in this case would be holding. Like if you see Firo going for this marksman setup again, maybe you're playing street demons, but you're like, I'll just hold this extra Xayah just in case.
Surely we won't see them
guy.
hit the marksman comp again.
Yeah. It really does become a 7v1 in this tournament, especially when only one person's at that check. We will probably see if this doesn't end in this next game. Multiple players having that chance to win with the first place, but for now, well, there's only one. That's most all we can do. We are going to be going to an ad break, I believe, again. So we'll see you for round 3.
Go, 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 go! Yes! Hey, Dad! I broke your record!
Hey, who is back?
Dad, you're back!
Ready to sign you again?
Yeah, sure. Shoot it! I'm dodging. Shoot it, shoot it, shoot it! Come on, come on! Okay.
AVerMedia. One clip saves your every moment.
Go, 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 go! Yes! Hey, Dad! I broke your record.
Hey, who is back?
Dad, you're back!
Ready to sign you again?
Yeah, sure. Shoot it! I'm dodging. Shoot it, shoot it, shoot it! Come on, come on! Okay.
AVerMedia. One click, save your every moment.
We're a club that we're a club that's you know, our goal is to encompass a competitive gaming scene.
They requested you.
I know what I must do.
Now go.
And they don't really have a... Oh, huge shatter!
And the lamp will come out, but the backline will not die as Tai a little bit overextending, but does find the pin on a bowl of dog.
It literally said 27, I unplugged it as 11.
Damn, you burned that shit. You burned through it fast.
I loaded up the training grounds, it's over.
Huh. What my games look like.
Why?
Card is still alive, but the sheep card is ultimate going once again, and that is a triple kill for sheep.
Wait, he missed lamp. Wait, we can.
Oh, I got one.
No back here, no back here.
I'm tilted in the TDM. It's over, guys. It's over.
Join the party.
Do I have to?
Yeah, you have to.
I gotta go in the DM?
Go. There's 4 peeking me. Okay.
Alright, once it queues, I'll go.
We have a lot of gamers on campus. Why, oh why, do we not have a gaming center on campus?
Oh, come on!
Yeah, I know!
Bro, like, what are you doing? Like, we gotta get to class. Like, what are you doing? My bad. Yeah, come on. Stupid, bro.
Welcome
Hey guys,
back.
welcome back. Just another thank you to AVerMedia for sponsoring this TFT tournament. They're gifting a webcam, PW513 4K webcam to our first place winner. Pricing is really good and nice, and I'm glad they provided it to us because sometimes taking it out of the budget is a bit much.
Don't really got the money to spare.
Especially around the end of the semester,
Oh yeah, definitely. I've already been spending it all on sweet treats when I finish the midterm, stuff like that.
Don't tell them what we spend our budget on, guys.
Yeah, I know. I spent it all on rent. I swear. Anyways, yeah, big thanks to AVerMedia for that. We really appreciate it for letting this TFT tournament happen like this. And hopefully we see it pay off with an exciting game 3. Maybe we see another 3-star forecast, but it would be honestly insane if it happened 3 games in a row.
And something I've also noticed is that both Bronco Esports and Gaucho Gaming are sponsored by Gen G. Hold on. Let me just flash that logo. Look at that. Woohoo.
Hell yeah. Shout out Gen G.
Thank you, Gen G. They got that study abroad program, if you guys are interested in that.
Well, yeah. Valorant Bootcamp.
I'm not that good at Valorant.
Oh, I mean, good enough to cast Val at least.
Exactly.
All right. Well, rolling into game 3. Sorry, did you see the portal?
I believe it was the sword.
Interesting.
So I think it's the augment. There's the extra augment.
Based on the I think it's gonna be extra augment or a earlier augment. We'll see when it gets to it, but playing around these different augment stages is definitely it's an interesting thing. It hasn't really happened in the past sets, so seeing it in this set, it's fun to play around, especially when you get like 2 really early game augments, but they're in round 2-7, and it's almost impossible to take. So that's fun.
I know once with the new Garen one where he gives you a 2-star 2 cost, I got a 2-star Shyvana, immediately rolled into Nitro, and it was just like, I just kind of won the lobby from there. Like,
speaking of, OG Don Juan here has gotten Shyvana.
Yeah, wow.
So they actually will have Nitro on round 1-4 if they want it. It's a very strong
TFT
early game
gods.
start.
You will give this individual Nitro.
I believe most likely in this like kind of stage of the meta, when you get these Nitro units early, you're most of the time just gonna want to play around them for early game tempo, and go into one of those like late game AD forecast comps. We'll see what OG Don Juan here does, but we're gonna see a hacked orb coming through. I believe they're waiting because they're not sure if it's gonna be a healing orb. If it's a orb that gives health, you're not gonna want to take it early, but I believe it people have been taking it, and it is gonna be those items.
Ooh.
We're gonna get okay, this is a new thing they've just added where it's called implant size, and if you use it on a unit, they will get I believe it's if a unit
Wolf Unchained, no!
They're gonna take, I think this is a very smart play from OG Don Juan. They're gonna take the just extra gold in an item just so they can get that early game strength, and with this Jax 2, they're gonna hope to...
Yeah.
They're going for another 5 streak.
Just roll people. Or... I don't know.
They did use implant size on the Fury, which is making me interested on whether they're planning
Are
to
they
go
going,
with
like,
Fury reroll.
Nitro Amp? I don't know, like, what is...
The Fury reroll it's a new addition to the meta. It's been being played pretty frequently recently, but they're gonna make a blue buff as well, which points a lot more towards specs, so we'll have to see what they choose, but we can actually, for someone who took Nitro in the early game as well as that early game tempo augment, losing to this Zyra 2 would be kind of a heartbreaker for Don
Is it gonna
Juan here.
happen?
It's close. This Nefiri's doing its best.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Oh!
Zyra with like a
That's
millisecond
rough.
of that cast barely beats OG Don Juan, so they're gonna have to play for a 4 streak here instead of a 5-1.
Yeah, that Kindred Wolf did not travel fast enough.
Damn, it's really just a difference of like the unit cast, because that Zyra ability comes out a little faster than Kindra's does. Got that long build up on the cast.
Yeah,
We
you
can check in with
know.
some other boards here, see how their positions are going. Maybe Baldy Boy or something.
I wonder if opping into that Nefiri reroll is gonna like pay off at all, or if it was the wrong move, you know.
I think putting that health on Nefiri could also just give them a lot of early game strength that they could use to play into maybe a Vex that just happens to have a 2-star Nefiri on the board with that 5 Exotech. We'll have to see what they choose, but for now we're seeing Baldy Boy for the first time in this finals go for a early game streak. They have slammed units, items on their units, and they've won 2 rounds in a row with this early Anima Squad comp, actually.
They're sick of this.
They've had enough of these lost streaks ending up going, well, not the worst placements, as they did get a 4th in both game 1 and 2, which is honestly a pretty good placement in a tournament like this where every point matters. But to get to that checkmate, especially coming in with a point deficit from the intramural points, they really need something like a first here to skyrocket them into a good place.
Yeah, and we're seeing with like the silver augment open, we've been seeing like button mash, like adaptive strikes pop up in a lot of people's like shops, and they're just not taking them. Is it just because these are bad?
Oftentimes these hero augments, you really only want to take them. I think the logic most people use is if you can slam 1.5 items or more on it immediately, because these hero augments change the unit so that they scale so much harder off of items. Like getting an adaptive strikes Jax with a bloodthirster is so much stronger than an adaptive strikes Jax with nothing. And getting that item early with maybe like even just a 2-star Jax with adaptive strikes can streak you through the first stage of the lobby and then allow you to get to that 3-star that allows you to tempo later into the game. But seeing that augment by itself without a good spot to take it is usually when you want to steer clear of it and go into a more flexible spot.
I just like seeing Silas just chain kill a bunch of people. It's just kind of funny.
I would say stat-wise, I think Silas has looked the worst out of all of the heroes.
Yeah, I know Wolf and Chain's probably the worst one next to
Wolf
like
and
button
Chain,
mash, I think.
Not the most. Button mash and adaptive strikes have looked pretty good.
Oh really?
In certain spots. You really do need to itemize them well early game, and also be in a spot where you can hit relatively early. Like you don't want to be in like stage like round 3-5 with a 2-star Jax. At that point, I think your game would be over. But none of these players are interested in taking that risk in a spot like this, especially when I think it must be in their minds that they need to secure a first place. At least one of these players has to secure a first place, otherwise Firo is taking it. And I will say that motivation is actually stronger for one player in this lobby. OG Don Juan has 14 points, which means they need exactly a first place to give them check. 2 players in this lobby, Ruffle, Huffle, and Stell, are pretty good on points. Ruffle Huffle only needs a 5th, and Stell only needs a 6th. So as long as they don't go 8th, that's mostly what they're looking for just get a pretty standard middle of the ground roll, and they should be in check, and then they just need that second first. Meanwhile, there's the few players in this lobby who aren't too great on points. We've got Baldy Boy, Yue, Winter Stitzel, and Rockwave. All that'll need at least 2 games before they can get into that check. So what these players are focused on is either getting that first to make Firo not able to get it, or play for really high placements like 2nd or 3rd even, just to amass points so that you can theoretically get to that game 5 checkmate. And we are gonna see Baldy Boy not getting the 5s they wanted, but getting 3, maybe even 4 wins in stage 2 is definitely what you want to see, especially since they haven't been playing too expensive of a board, so they've still got like around 40 gold just coming in from raw economy.
I might be wrong, but I think I'm seeing Cell maybe going for a Bruiser Rapid Fire comp.
Interesting. Bruiser Rapid Fire?
I could be wrong. It could be too early to tell, but I'm looking at what's being fielded.
Well, I mean, oftentimes they'll play these early synergies like Bruiser and Rapid Fire just in order to get early rounds and then just generally like pivot off. But I will say it's not the worst choice you could make, hitting something like that theoretically would just get you a good 4th if you hit everything you need, and that's really all that Cell needs. they're not playing. At least they don't need to be playing for a first place here or a second even. They just gotta play to not lose. They don't have to win.
Yeah, I'm just looking at that adaptive helm on that Twisted Fate. It's like staring me in the face, you know.
I do believe it was just like since they have so many points and they don't need that good of a finish, just playing for early game HP to make your general standing better. So having something like adaptive helm and just like playing into something like Street Demons or Exotech Vex, an AP level 8 board, just most of the time will get you to that point that you need to get to. But we'll have to see. They do have a 2-star Twisted Fate, which is definitely like a really big deal for like their early game strength. So they're definitely not looking weak at this stage of the game. And they are gonna stick in Street Demon to this board, so it looks like they're at least angling that comp, especially with two Jinxes on bench, and I believe they're about to put some more items on them as well. So playing for that early game strength, and I think angling that Street Demon is what Cell seems to be focused on for now. They're gonna be fighting into Baldy Boy though, who has hit a level 5 Xayah. And that's with already an Anima Squad start. So they're looking in a perfect spot to play that Marksman Vanguard comp that Firo played twice in a row. And we can check on his Firo, who's the normal player of this comp, who I assume would still be playing it. They've chosen to take what is it called? The late start here, so just playing for early game strength, and it's paid off. They're sitting at 94 HP.
Surely we don't see Firo win again of this comp.
It would be crazy to go from delayed start immediately to restart missions. So not a single choice made on your board, just all what the game gives you. And they are gonna instead choose to go into most likely either lineup or support binding here, just for some extra board strength. Get ahead of those other boards that might be picking more economic options off these silver augments. I think a lot of people underestimate how much a silver augment can change your board strength if you choose to make it more of a combat augment, like a support item or lineup, something like that.
What are the stronger ones of those silver augments?
It really just depends on what your board is, since I think the silver augments rely so much more on synergizing with the board you're choosing. But there are some generically good ones, like just taking bulky buddies, the silver version, can add a lot of HP to your board and changes a lot around that you wouldn't really expect it to. In this case, I think lineup wouldn't be bad because it would just buff your frontline a bit, but generally you do want to take that board when you're playing like 7 or 8 frontline units, which is almost exclusively in like those melee reroll comps like Rengar. But I mean, Firo's looking in a great spot right now. I believe they're just going to be angling towards that marksman as usual, sticking with the game plan. They've built that Shojin, and they have 2 swords, which is a pretty good spot to go into that Xayah carry and just get like 3 good items on them, maybe another item on Aphelios. They've got that even Shroud, which points towards the fact that they're for sure playing AD at least. They're going to want to build something in that vein, and they've got really good, almost, I think, generally like the best 2 Leona items you could have to pair with the 3rd one here. So I think sorry, who was the Baldy Boy is going to be in a tough spot here since they seem to be contesting this marksman comp, and I will say they do have that early Xayah, but it'll depend on if they can keep up with Firo's board when all said and done in the late stage 4, which is really when this marksman comp shines. I do think the extra strength from that early side is going to allow them to win a lot of these early rounds. So you can see here that they're beating Firo even with a severe like deficit in 2-star units. They've managed to win on sheer unit strength from that Last Whisper Xayah. It's interesting to see the spatula, frying pan on Carousel, and we're going to see Cell take it, which points towards, honestly, anything. If they have a Reforger, they could possibly turn it into a Street Demon Spatula and go for an AP comp, or just make it into some sort of frontline thing, like Bruiser Spatula, and actually play into that Bruiser maybe play a Fail Sticks. Interesting to see that immediate pickup with the spatula. And if we check in with Cell here, they actually, since we've last seen them, lost quite a few rounds. And being at this 68 HP in last place in terms of HP is not where you want to be when your only lose condition here is getting 7th or 8th. Because Cell has enough points that all they need is a 6th. So losing this much HP early really hurts your chances. And I believe we'll see them at least try to make a Street spatula out of this. But we're going to see the early augment round coming in on stage 3-6 instead of the normal 4-2 is hopefully what's going to turn Cell's game around, as I believe they're going to lose yet another round here. Oh, never mind. I miscalculated. I believe they're going to. So they're going to take this round, and I think taking one more round would make them feel a lot more confident in their ability to get the placement they're looking for. As you can see, they've moved into 6th place here.
Let's look at these.
Almost come out, and we're getting an item hack. So boards that are maybe a little low on items or require a lot of them, like the marksman comp that we're seeing out of Baldy Boy and Firo here. Actually, this, if they get what they're looking for, this could matter a lot, because having a comp that requires you to have 3 items on both Aphelios and Xayah, and also as on your hopefully on your Leona as well, that 2-star tank with 3 items. That's a lot of items that normally you would not be able to get in a conventional TFT game, like at least in stage 4. So I believe that we're gonna see them taking some of these item augments just to get the items that they're looking for on these units. Not too picky with which ones you get, just make sure that they have enough. Cell, we're gonna see is taking this Blazing Soul, just a very conventional AP augment. Gives attack speed and ability power to your units. Very good in a complex Street Demon, which I believe they're angling towards with their item slams. So, I mean, with the way that they're playing the game, it's mostly hinging on what they can hit on 4-2. And if they get that level 8 roll down, hit the Brand 2, hit the front line strong enough to stall for it, maybe even a Samira if they're lucky, that could turn the game around. And we are seeing them just chilling on this 11 free rerolls that they got from their 2nd silver augment. So they have a lot of chances to find the units they're looking for. And I think we can check back on them on 4-2 to see if they hit what they're looking for. But for now, we can cut to Wiener Stitzel, who actually, in the background, has gotten on fire, because they're on this 5 streak with a 2-star, 3-item Twisted Fate. They've gotten these free items from the item hack, and they're running Pumping Up, which is going to give them even more attack speed as the game goes later, and they're going to be building this secondary carry of the Draven, as well as I believe going for this Twisted Fate free as well. Yeah, playing this. We saw this comp early as well.
It's no secret that like that Pumping Up augment can just sneak up on you, especially if, like, with that Twisted Fate as well. Like, you're just gonna be chucking cards, and that Draven's gonna be chucking axes, and it you know, Wiener Schnitzel's just looking like they're in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, and they really do need this type of game. They're sitting at 7 points total for the tournament, so just getting like a 1st place here or a 2nd place is really like their only hope of staying in. So going for an out, like hitting all these 3 stars in a lobby like this where there's silver augments, it actually can lead to these real comps capping out higher than the standard ones, since you don't really get as much board strength from the augments. But as I'm saying that, we're gonna see a 4th augment come in on this 4-2. So depending on the rarity of it or what synergy, yeah, it's gonna be a prismatic augment. This is gonna change the game for a lot of these players. The difference in board strength from getting the prismatic augment you're looking for and the one you settle for can absolutely.
We're getting a coronation.
And I do think this is one of the best things they could have hoped for in the spot. Getting an extra unit space without having to level allows you to keep your board strength kind of on par with a lot of the people you're fighting, and without like reducing your odds to hit the level of unit that you're actually searching for, which is going to be these like Dravens and Brahms and Twisted Fates. You can still hit those on level 7 while being able to run 8 units and still get that third item on your Draven, which is just an added bonus.
Yeah, and I believe is that late game specialist?
That is late game specialist. So it's interesting to see if they're actually going to stick around and reroll for these units, like the Twisted Fate 3 and the Draven 3, or just go to level 9 and see what they hit. There's not any specific units that it seems like they could be going for that are 5 cost with these items, so it's very interesting to see their gameplay strategy here.
Yeah, and they just that hot streak just kind of ended, so it'll be interesting to see how they react to it if they do at all.
That might help. Hitting the 2 bronze in shop and also putting an infinite size on it really beefs up the front line. But we do see them shut down by Baldy Boy here, who had done a 4-2 roll down, I believe, maybe even 4-1. They're at 0 gold. They spent everything they have and it paid off. They've hit a lot of the upgrades they were looking for. The board's looking a lot stronger than it was before. If we cut to Baldy Boy, we can hopefully see. This is the round that they need.
Baldy's running the Firo board.
Yeah, I think if you could say anything, it would be that learning from the people that are winning is generally a pretty good strategy to take.
Yeah.
But I mean, hitting that Leona 2 is, I think, one of the most important upgrades you can get when you're playing this Marching Cup. And they're going against the other one, because Firo is running the same thing, and they've also got 1-star versions of Desire.
No, come on. Okay, I was worried. I was worried.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to beat the Master when you're running a comp like this, but this is really the rounds that Baldy Boy... If Baldy Boy is going to be winning these rounds, it has to be now. Because Marksman Vanguard kind of falls off unless you hit that 3-star 4 cost, which is not usually what you're expecting to hit. And the verticals that can go to that level 9 get a really important unit, like Street Demons or those AP boards like Vex usually cap out higher than it. So getting these stage 4 wins like they have been getting on 4-2 and 4-3, and hopefully now 4-5 and 6, it is really what Baldy Boy needs to secure that maybe like 2nd place to really allow them to get the check they're looking for.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, I wonder if they're gonna put that Garen into play, and they do.
Yeah, getting a marksman Garen here. Garen actually does scale pretty well off AD stats because their ability does a lot of damage, despite also shielding them. So one of the better units, honestly, to put this marksman special on. And there was really like an empty spot for you to find something to go there, which ends up being this Garen, as playing a 1-star Gragas is not really getting the most out of it. We are going to see OG Dawn of One actually did roll for this
Nefiri
reroll, and I see that
that's
their logic
scary.
Their logic has been that the best possible exotech item for this comp is the one that they've gotten, which is Fangs, Hyper Fangs.
Oh, wait. Yeah, no, I mean, that's close, but that Nefiri did a lot of damage before she bit the bullet.
I'm sure if we could see the stats on that, it would be insane. I mean, it's rough for Baldy Boy here, but if we could cut to OG Dawn of One, we can see that I think playing for this Nefiri reroll is paid off for them a lot. They're sitting at the top spot in terms of HP, and they're also sitting pretty comfortably in terms of like their board strength. They've had a bit of they're gonna have a bit of the advantage over the other 4 cost comps that haven't quite hit their pairs yet. While they are still level 7, and they might have like 1 less unit than the other boards. They have a lot of board strength, especially with this augment they've taken, which has given them so many belts. They're able to beef up their board and stall for this Nefiri to dish out tons of damage with the secondary carry of the Yumi.
Yeah, and every time that Nefiri casts her ability, it's just like half her health is back, but
it's a ton of Omnivamp, yeah. I do believe Annie has a pretty good chance.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's...
We're gonna see the strategist Annie board actually... That Annie did 10,000 damage there. So, a bit of a you but cooler situation where... I think playing around amps and having a Restar Theory is not the coolest thing you can see, especially... I mean, just an Annie 2 with that much board strength around it is gonna most of the time be able to defeat something like this, especially if you just build anti-heal and this Neferi is going to be beat severely. Cutting over to Ray if possible. They are sitting at 5 HP, so it's not the most thrilling situation to be in. We're going through. Oh yeah, here we are. They have built a pretty strong board here. They've got a 2-star Zeri with
those items though. I mean, you kind of have to.
It's not the most appealing items to have for sure, but yeah, hitting that upgrade was a very big deal. The lack of the 2-star Sejuani, I believe, would be the most important difference in terms of whether they're winning rounds or not. And seemingly from their items, they just were not able to hit that Ginsu that they were looking for. Although they might have just been prioritizing having the healing of Omnivamp off that Gunblade. And it does seem like the Sejuani upgrade is going to be the actual difference here, as they're able to take down that Neferi with the stall. And now it's up to the Yuumi to 1v1, I guess 2v1 this area. And unfortunately, it's not going to be strong enough.
That's so sad.
The extra items from that prismatic augment for OG Don Juan is allowing this secondary tank of Echo to be almost as strong as the primary one. It's just able to tank up so much damage for their Yuumi.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the risk when you're playing at such low health against, like, some of these people who are just, like, you know, like, high rolling. It's just... It's rough. You get pitted against the wrong person, and you just wish maybe you didn't fall to that low of a health threshold.
Yeah, and we're seeing Cell be in a pretty similar state. They've rolled down and hit most of what they're looking for with this Street Demon board. It really comes down to, are they strong enough with this 3-item brand and the upgrades on their bench? It does seem like they're going to be, but are they strong enough to last? Because they have been playing for a pretty strong level 9 board. They've sacrificed their stage 4 in order to end up with the strong board that we're seeing right now. And they're hitting multiple 5 costs, hopefully hitting the 2-star 5 cost to really cap out this board. But surprisingly, Cell actually looks like not the worst spot to go for a first place, actually, not even just a 6th like they're hoping for.
And we were looking at Wiener Schnitzel earlier with the late game specialist, and they haven't even hit it yet, and they're at 16 health. That's about 2 matches away, I think. Probably 2 losses.
While they haven't been going level 9 for that extra cash injection, they have hit everything else they were looking for. That's a 3-star Draven.
Except the 3-star Twisted Fate.
I think when you're playing level 7, it's definitely, you're angling more for this Draven carry and this Braum tank. I think it's playing much more for a secondary carry in the Twisted Fate. And if they're ever gonna win a round, it's gonna be right now. This is their time to hopefully stall out for some other boards to take lower placements. While maybe they decide that this is the board strength that they're looking for and just try to save all the money they can and get to that level 9.
It just makes me sad to see Biss on Twisted Fate and he's still 2-star, you know?
Well, I mean, you could look at it another way, you know? They might be 2-star, but at least they have Biss. You know what I mean?
Oh, and also that Braum is just taking everything. Like, he's...
Oh, absolutely.
That's
if you look at the stats, they're 20,000 damage blocked from 1 unit, and it's just actually insane. I think especially since you're not running this 3-star Twisted Fate, there's no priority to put your Syndicate hat on them. So this Braum gets to have the hat and get extra tankiness, while your Twisted Fate has less responsibility to carry for your board, since the Raven 3 is dealing so much damage for your board.
Yeah, not only the extra tankiness, I know that they also just buffed his Syndicate buff, and the 3-star like upgrade for that Syndicate ability is actually really big.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of the reason why a lot of players recently have been prioritizing more of these 3-star versions of the Twisted Fate comp compared to the Darius and Twisted Fate version we've seen in the past, because this Braum is just so much stronger than it used to be. And we'll see Rockwave here. We saw them win a few rounds, one against OG Don Juan, but this amp strategist comp is just not at the strength level you want to be at, and it does sort of make sense. They're sitting on 50 gold with 40 gold injected into their leveling, so I believe this has to be the round where they level to 9 and try to hit those 5 cost units. That hopefully will turn this thing around for them and let them get this first place, but it's all on these rolls. They're very possibly going to die in this next round if they go against a really strong. Although they could.
Speaking of first place, we have a familiar name there.
Seeing Firo with that much HP is the last thing these players want to see. They're really banking on someone being able to yank the blanket right out of the sky, because if Firo ends up winning this game, the entire tournament for the rest of these players are over. And Firo has good reason to play.
That's a 2-star Samira though.
2-star Samira. It does beat the board for Firo, but that was the ghost board. So it won't be as strong as the actual board that we see Firo playing. And Firo does take a loss here, so maybe a bit of a sigh of relief from the other players, but I'm sure Firo's going to do everything they can to bring this back, especially with the wonderful prizing sponsored by AVerMedia.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's a nice webcam. That's 4K.
If I was in this tournament, I would have DDoSed all of the other competitors. Just to get it. But no one listened to that because we will ban you.
Only Flash Nerd can do that.
Only me, because I'm the tournament. I'm 11. This is why I'm not playing, probably. But
hey, when you run into that controversy, hit me up. I'm a PR director.
Okay, I got you. Or more like, I know you got me.
Yeah.
We are seeing...
That's a 2-star Aurora that just got popped onto Firo's board.
That's a little scary, and also a 2-star Cho'Gath, which is honestly...
Yeah, that's just gonna be more meat to try to bust through, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely not what you're looking for if you're the other players in this lobby. But I will say, a lot of these other boards have been holding these, I saw like Leona's on 2 players' benches that were just playing Street Demons, so they're definitely taking the advice to not just let this
We're watching Firo versus the Neferi reroll.
I mean, this would be a very, very nice place to kind of knock Firo out, because this Neferi reroll is definitely gonna fall off
no, yeah.
I mean, we're gonna see.
Oh, that's close too. That's
I do believe Don Juan has one more chance. So
pretty much, yes.
They really need to get as much of a placement as they can get here. I will say at this point, they've kind of done all they can. The chances of this board getting to first place are pretty low, and that's really the only big game changer that OG Don Juan can get in the context of the entire tournament. Getting anything from like 2nd to 4th is basically the same in this case, because they would still be playing for a 4th game check. But,
it's just rough because you have 5 amp, you have the best items possible on this Neferi, and you have like you have that like tanky Sejuani as well. It's just like, you know, like Firo's board just won.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it comes down to the augments.
Yeah.
A lot of the augments that OG Don Juan took were more focused on allowing them to hit the units they needed, or give them items to work around, and not just increasing the raw strength of the board.
Baldy Boy's gone.
Baldy Boy does go out here, so that's the other competitor for the marksman comp, which is a little worrying if you're the rest of the players.
Yeah.
Firo had not hit their Leona 2 yet, and if they're able to do it in these next few rounds, and live to see the next daylight, it could be lights out for the rest of the competitors.
Yeah. It's really worrying. Like, that backline has been cooking. Like, especially with that Aurora.
This is the best time that Ruffle Huffle has to clutch up and get Firo out of this fight. But we'll also see on the other side that Cell and OG Don Juan are fighting for this. I believe whoever's going out in 4th.
Yeah, that 2-star Samira goes in, but I think that's wraps. That's wraps for Firo. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Listen,
Firo,
guys, we're good.
Firo and OG Don Juan go down, which are the two people who need first the most. So now it's between Ruffle, Huff, and Sub. And both of these players they're already in check. This is purely for pride. Whoever wins this
I believe
is just looking
street
cooler than the
demons.
other.
Two
Yeah.
street demons.
I mean, with what we've been saying about what the strongest comps in the meta are, it's not much of a surprise, but
nothing ever changes. Would you look at the time?
yeah. Ideally we could cut to either Stellar Ruffle Huff or see their POV, which I believe it's just lagging and we're trying to. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, we can see a Radiant Anvil here, giving Brand a Radiant Shojin. Yeah, it's a strong board, but we're seeing on the other side, this board has a lot of 2-star 5 costs. It's got a 2-star Street Demon Kabuko, 2-star Thieves Glove on.
Those are
Viego.
good items on the
best
Viego.
items you
Like,
could
those are
really
pretty
hope
good.
for, ideally. This is a battle of the powerhouses. It's
Yeah,
getting
no,
close.
it's just raw strength versus raw strength, and
I think it's between whether.
Is it?
I think the Radiant
yeah.
Trojan just gets so many more casts for that brand,
Yeah.
and the damage output is really too much to contend with. Ruffle Huffle does take first place here, but both of these players are coming out happy. Both these players got the check that they were looking for, and they will be a win on the very next game. So now we have Ruffle Huffle, Cell, and Firo all playing for that first place to close out the entire tournament. And everyone else in the lobby is just thinking, we gotta stop them.
we're gonna make this last longer.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I gotta say, I'm rooting for everyone except those three because that means we get to watch.
We get to watch more gaming, and I love this. That's why I'm casting.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like I like watching it more than playing because I don't even get frustrated. I get to say, well, at least I'm not rooting for that guy.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, that might change if we see Firo get another 3-star forecast. I might be a little frustrating, but at that point, I think they deserve it.
It does depend how it happens, you know.
All right, well, very exciting to see. We have 3 people that could win it in the very next game. We'll see you on the other side. Cutting to an ad break, I believe.
Go. Yes! Hey, Dad, I broke your record.
Hey, who is back?
Dad, you're back.
Ready to sign you again?
Yeah, sure. Shoot it. I'm dodging. Shoot it. Come on. Okay.
AVerMedia. One clip save your every moment.
Today I'm going to introduce AVerMedia's Versatigo,
a USB cardioid microphone.
Welcome back. We're here with game 4 of the TFT finals.
It looks like we're going into this with 3 top dogs on checkmate.
Yeah, we got Firo, well known by this point, I'm sure, but also now Cell and Ruffle Huffle, all in a spot where a first place finish and the entire tournament's over, which means that they could win the AVerMedia 513 webcam, which is very cool.
It's 4K. You know,
it's 4K. I've heard.
Genuinely though, like a 4K webcam is actually kind of wild, to be completely honest. Like,
yeah, I mean, if I was in this tournament, I would be doing anything I could to win out, because this is not only very expensive but also very high quality prize that you get.
Exactly. I mean, imagine rolling into like your Zoom class with the 4K webcam. That's such a flex, you know?
Yeah, everyone else is talking about like what they did for homework, and you're sitting there with like the highest quality possible thing, and everyone's just thinking, man, if only I was them.
Like that guy, like you're like that guy at the party, like they don't know I have a 4K webcam, but they will know because your webcam's in 4K.
Unless they ask like, hey, where'd you go over the weekend? And you're just like, oh, I talked to my friends with my high quality AVerMedia 4K webcam.
And you could also talk to your friends over Discord with the microphone you'll be getting if you get second place, the AM330 live streamer mic. You know, that's true. That's no joke either.
Even if these 3 players don't get the first place finish that they're looking for the whole tournament win, getting second place here is honestly also amazing, since AVerMedia decided that all podium finishers are apparently getting the coolest stuff ever. It's gonna be a little bit going into our game 4, since having a bit of technical difficulties from the players, but stay tuned and we should be with you as soon as possible with game 4. I'm sure the viewers are waiting with bated breath, but wow.
Club that we're a club that's you know, our goal is to encompass a competitive gaming scene.
They requested you.
I know what I must do. Now go.
And they don't really have a... Oh, huge shatter!
And the lamp will come out, but the backline will not die as Kai a little bit overextending, but does find the pin on a bowl of dog.
It literally said 27, I unplugged it as 11.
Damn, you burned that shit. You burned through it fast.
I loaded up the training grounds and it's over.
Hey.
Oh,
huh. What my games should look like.
Why? God is still alive, but the Sheep card is ultimate going once again, and that is a triple kill for Sheep.
Wait, he missed lamp. Wait, we can.
Oh, I got one.
No about to, no about to.
I'm tilted in the TDM. It's over, guys. It's over.
Join the party.
Do I have to?
Yeah.
I gotta go in the DM.
Go! There's 4 peeking me. Okay.
Alright, once it queues, I'll go.
We have a lot of gamers on campus. Why, oh why, do we not have a gaming center on campus?
Oh, come on!
Yeah, I know!
Bro, like, what are you doing? Like, we gotta get to class. Like, what are you doing? My bad. Yeah, come on. Stupid, bro.
Alright. Alright, okay, yeah.
Clear the palette.
Yeah.
Red Bull.
We're a club that We're a club that's you know, our goal is to encompass a competitive gaming scene.
They requested you.
I know what I must do.
Now go.
And they don't really have a... Oh, huge shatter!
And the lamp will come out, but the backline will not die as Tai a little bit overextending, but does find the pin on a bowl of dog.
It literally said 27. I unplugged it as 11.
Damn, you burned that shit. You burned through it fast.
I loaded up the training grounds and it's over.
Huh. What my games should look like.
Why?
Todd is still alive, but the Sheep card is ultimate going once again, and that is a triple kill for Sheep.
Wait, he missed lamp. Wait, we can.
Oh, I got one.
No about to, no about to.
I'm tilted in the TDM. It's over, guys. It's over.
Join the party.
Do I have to?
Yeah.
I gotta go in the DM.
Go. There's 4 peeking me. Okay.
All right, once it queues, I'll go. Once it...
We have a lot of gamers on campus. Why, oh why, do we not have a gaming center on campus?
Oh, come on!
Yeah, I know!
Bro, like, what are you doing? Like, we gotta get to class. Like, what are you doing? My bad. Yeah, come on. Stupid, bro.
Alright. Alright, okay, yeah.
Got cleared up.
Let's raise the stakes.
I mean, it does allow you to see a lot cooler boards. People are going to be getting to those level 9 spots or hitting the 3 stars a lot sooner with the extra money. So definitely stronger boards are going to be coming out of all these players than before.
I just want to see a emblem golem here, you know? I think that'd be funny.
I think that's the last thing that the players want to see.
It is, because it
would be crazy if you roll
the
into
worst
the
thing
golem.
ever.
Like, you get into the golem portal and then Firo has a Vanguard marksman golem and it's like, okay, well,
Yeah, right? Like, yeah, your rock wave and you get like an exotech strategist one and you're like, oh man, like
knowing their luck these days. Yeah. But we're seeing pretty standard early games here. We're watching Yue here. Not looking the best in the standings, but at the moment they've hit Nitro units, which is pretty good
Always
start to
good.
the early game. We've got 2 Sejuanis and alright items going into it. Here comes Aga. There's gonna be one more round, then we'll see what Augment structures are. Interesting getting a Seraphine too in this spot, since I think generally speaking, when you have this, it's actually probably stronger to just play around the techie synergy between Seraphine and Shyvana, and just like don't even play around Nitro, since that 2-star unit with such a synergistic item as Shojin could actually carry you through all stages too. A big question here is what type of augment we're gonna see. And it's gonna be prismatic with an economic glitch. Holy moly. Economic glitch with the Twisted Fate portal is a huge deal. Stuff like birthday present.
Show me a hedge fund. Show me a hedge
fund.
fund. We got a hedge fund. We got a hedge fund. Rockwave went hedge fund.
Rockwave has picked hedge fund. We might see more stuff similar to that where people are going to be like, with the extra money and the prismatic econ start, screw it. I'm going to go level 9. I'm going to win out. So
I'll see you on Wall Street, Rockwave.
They're going to be prioritizing just making bank. As much money as they could possibly get at the current moment.
Money.
It'll be interesting to see like which players have opted to not take the economic augments here, especially because the way the glitch works, you actually lose out not only on the economic augment itself, but picking the glitch augment actually gives you a little bit of a gold injection as well, just from taking it, since I believe it's like 9 extra gold later, and maybe like 4 at this stage of the game. I might be wrong there, but just getting a little extra gold can matter a lot in these early games, just reaching those margins of 30 gold or 40 gold to get you to that level 9 spot.
Yeah, I think pretty much everyone has went some kind of econ prismatic here. Like I see Cell with prismatic ticket.
Prismatic ticket from Cell, it's actually, yeah, that's interesting because with the extra rolls from it as well as the extra money, that's gonna speed up the process for Cell of hitting those reroll comps so fast. I'm interested in looking at their board and seeing like what comp actually they're angling here, because whichever one they choose, it has to be something that could win. Not all reroll comps have like the capability to get that first place spot, and especially these 2-star ones like Vigar and Twisted Fate are much more commonly playing for those like 2nd and 3rd spots. And when you're in a position like this where all you need is first place and nothing else matters, picking something like Prismatic Ticket is very, you gotta be very I think purposeful in what comp you decide to play.
Listen, Cell's watching. Cell's walking into the club, like money spreading his prismatic tickets. Like, yeah, I like gambling. Couldn't you tell?
I mean, I think there's a little bit of a part of me that's like, just seeing this many shops might just be worth taking the loss. You know what I mean? It's that dopamine boost is so worth it. But I mean, we're gonna see like almost all of these players just have almost infinite money. I assume like it'll be more common to see people being level 9 and level 8 these days, with the combination of Twisted Fate portal and edge funds everywhere, upward mobility, stuff like that. We can check in with OG Don Juan here, who's the other person with 100 HP that we haven't actually looked at. We can see from their team planner they're going for a Street Demon vertical here, and it's a pretty solid option. The OG Don Juan actually is currently sitting at enough points where they really just
meta TFT.
They really just need to not lose. They're sitting at 20 points, which means as long as they don't get 8th, they're in check. So playing something like Street Demon, which is pretty consistent, it's hard to go 8th when you have such a consistently strong board. Is a pretty smart play. All they need to do is not lose, and ideally actually contest the ability to get first, because if OG Don Juan can get first here, it denies Cell and Ruffle Huffle and Firo from ending the tournament right here and now, and gives them one more chance to close this thing out. That is a special on Carousel. This is gonna matter a lot for these boards that are going to level 9, because I mean, hitting these verticals with so many spaces on your board is a very big deal. And we're gonna see Ruffle Huffle taking it as they have the least amount of health, which means they got first pick on Carousel. And getting the spatula while you're in a position where a first place can see the entire tournament is probably pretty scary for the rest of this lobby.
I wonder what they're gonna do with it as well.
Yeah, I mean, we could check out Ruffle Huffle's
They
board
could go
right
4
now.
Cypher right now. They're going, yes! Yes!
Is Ruffle Huffle... Ruffle Huffle is...
going Cypher.
Okay, a Cypher... 4 Cypher on 2-5.
This is insane.
This is a spot where the rest of the lobby is now gotta be thinking, this is where you have to stop. Because
We need to win. We need Ruffle Huffle to win.
Is allowed to survive, they're gonna get first place. I mean, there's a few augments that, spatulas they can make here. Exotech and just playing that Zeri, but just if they can get a cash out, maybe like 400 or more, and just like get it the max value out of this Cypher that they can get, they're in a very good spot to take this whole tournament home. And
Yeah, and I just saw Firo say in the chat, I can't lose to Cypher.
it really would be heartbreaking, especially since Firo had a chance to win last game, and to lose to Cypher in an economic board like this, such a high variance spot, gotta be frustrating. But for now, they just gotta focus on doing whatever they can to stop it from happening. I am interested to see. It doesn't seem like anyone's in really a spot to grief this board, because Cypher losing their loss streak would be devastating for Ruffle Huffle here, especially in the spot that they're in, where they're kind of starting their streak late. They didn't have any 2-1 Cypher. They got that was the first amount of points they had gotten. They were starting at 0.
As the person watching them, they had a board with a Vi and a LeBlanc, and immediately in their shop I saw was a Draven and a Galleon.
Wow, that's
just the luck.
Especially because they didn't even go for a Cypher unit on Carousel. They went for a Spatula. So just randomly hitting, like that's gotta feel even more harrowing for everyone else in the lobby to find out that a shop at level 4 with a Galio and a Draven could be what ended your tournament run.
Yeah, like you like roll into your next random enemy. You're like, okay, yeah, I'm trying to win streak. Let me clear the next guy, and it's just a Cypher board, and there's like a violent sting.
Yeah, I mean, what can you do except do your best, you know? They do have to lose though, and without bleeding too much HP. They started this Cypher cash out with this Cypher streak already being the lowest health person in the lobby, so they don't have the most time to work with. Ideally, you can streak all the way to maybe 4-3, but if they're forced to cash out at stage 3-7, for example, prematurely due to their lack of HP, that could end up. Oh my! Forget everything I just said. They just hit so many units. That's actually maybe bad.
It could be bad. It could be bad because it might mean they take a round.
Yeah, hitting this 2-star Draven and 2-star Galio has upgraded their board to being so much stronger than they probably want it to be, and there's a chance that they run into a board like that maybe has been waiting to scale into the late game and hasn't upgraded that hard. They could just lose their streak before it's even really begun.
Yeah, and you see them replacing their Echo with a 1-star with a Seraphine, just so there's less synergies. There's more of a chance they lose, and I think that was gonna happen anyways. But as a Cypher expert here, you can't take those risks at all. Like.
Yeah, it's definitely a good play to play safe there, but unfortunately they've been punished to the max degree by playing the strongest board in the lobby, which is this board by OG Don Juan, which is a birthday present board, which means they're going to be leveling as much as possible, which not only does extra damage from the level, but also allows you to add more units on your board, which was just, that was a lot of damage for a Cypher board to be taken. It's definitely not what we want to see. We are going to see build around coming here, and interesting. I hope they're not looking at Vampiric Vitality here, because it's very risky to take in a spot like this. And yeah, they are just gonna go for a generic a combat augment like mentorship, just to make their board a little stronger when they hit that inevitable cash out. But for now, all eyes are on the rest of the players, and they need to be prioritizing not winning, because with these upgrades, at least they don't have any items slammed, but with these upgrades, their board isn't the worst, and they definitely want to avoid winning, especially against a board like this, which might have a Garen on it, but that's not a single item unit upgrade. I'm a little scared here, but it seems like I might be out of my mind, because yeah, the Jhin damage seems to be enough, so. Actually, a very good round for Ruffle Huffle here. They've saved a lot of HP by killing units here with the better positioning that they took, while also still, due to the item deficit being so behind in Ghost Strike. So, exactly what you want to see. And they're going to skip this, of course, but I think we can check in with OT Don Juan here, who on the very opposite side of the spectrum of this 7-loss streak is on a 7-win streak. They haven't dropped a single round. And I mean, for any esports watchers out there, you might know that Dish Soap famously won the world's tournament in TFT, specifically with this Poro little legend by playing Birthday Present, because
Ooh.
getting to that level 9 and getting those free 2-star 5 costs is a big deal, especially on a portal like this where Twisted Fate is giving you so much extra money that's all going straight to that leveling and making your board as strong as possible at all times. If Don Juan wants to win here and stop Cell, Ruffle Huffle, or Firo from ending the tournament, their best bet is to not drop a single round up until like maybe stage 4. And it looks like that trend is going to continue for now, unless this Vi is tanky enough to stop the Vigar. Actually, looking a little scary, and the Ginsu actually stacked up in the background while no one was watching, and it's a really unfortunate time for Don Juan to lose their streak since they've spent so much money on their level. They only have 5 gold on level 7, so it's going to take a lot for their economy to get back to where it needs to be, especially without that streak.
Can we look at what Ruffle Huffle just picked up?
Yeah. I wasn't mentioning it because it's a little scary, but that is, yes, they have 2 spatulas without slamming any spatula items, which means they will just be getting a Force of Nature on account of 2 carousels, which is insane. They're in a very good spot to win this lobby. It really is going to depend on whether they can stabilize after the cash out, though. And
Cypher, my beloved.
They're still pretty low on HP. I'm not confident that they can make it to 4-3.
Yeah, it's difficult. I personally am confident in my go. It looks like he's like starting to pivot towards like a more salvageable board, you know.
It does feel like, though, even if you save HP by killing units, just with like the sheer loss of HP, it's very likely you won't make it to stage 4, or you'll make it to stage 4 barely, and that can be really risky in a spot like this, where
I mean, there's always the 3-7 cash out.
It might just be wiser to cash out on stage 3-7, right? You have time to flesh out your board, roll down for upgrades, and you already have a lot of board strength for free from that.
Yeah, that's a lot of health going right now. Like,
yeah, like this going from 48 health to 36. If they take that 3 more times, they're just dead. So they need to either save more HP on these rounds, or cash on stage 3-7. There's no other way about it.
If I'm Ruffle here, I save it for 4-3. But I understand that is scary.
It might be not the
I
worst
think you can minimize it. I think you can minimize it.
You do need to slam items, I think. If they don't use any items, they might not save enough HP to get to that point.
And it is also a bit rough because of not hitting Cypher 5 here is a bit sad. Like, because with the Cypher changes this patch, as the Cypher person, it made it basically much better if you hit Cypher 5, but it was a nerf to Cypher 3 and 4. So like this just is kind of sad because you haven't hit that Cypher 5 at a point where you want to be stacking that intel.
Yeah, it's not looking great for them getting the huge game-winning cash outs like 500, 600,
that's
550, 600, but they're in a pretty good spot to get like enough to win most.
They took it.
Games,
they took
yeah,
it.
They are just going to take.
That's not the best cash out. But you know what? I feel like that's the safe bet. You know.
It is a significant boost to board strength, and they're going to roll down now.
That's his area. Yeah, he's got his board.
They're hitting a lot of.
Oh my god!
I mean, this roll down's going basically as well as you could hope it to, and getting his component ambos is actually like pretty good. You guarantee that you're gonna get the. I assume they're gonna guarantee the Ginsu on the Zeri, and they already have the best possible items for this Draven, and they can also get the tank items that they're looking for on their Galio. So if they can hit this Draven 3, maybe some 2-star 4 costs, and then just go level 9, like. This is a pretty reasonable spot to go for first place. It'll depend on if anyone else in the lobby can really contest it, though.
At this point, you don't even need Zed. Like, although he does pick it up.
I think oftentimes it's still just better to run.
It's better because you get the increase in the stats. Yeah.
Their current. That's.
Oh my god! Come on! He hit 2 Zed.
They are. I will note, not hitting any of the more impactful units on their board.
Yeah,
Bullets,
the
two-star
Anvil didn't
Raven.
drop any recurve bows as an option, so Zeri is just kind of sitting there. Like,
Zeri is none of the items they're looking for, but they've been prioritizing these. Oh, and they reforged into a bow, so they are actually going to have.
oh, well.
I think they do have enough board strength also. They've slammed like 7 extra items from what they've had before, so they're going to be taking this round from OG Don Juan, who is basically run out of gold at this point. But
I'm so
no
transistor. They should have gotten transistor.
Hold the
I love
chaos
gambling.
in
He
this
went call to
spot.
chaos. Yeah,
Oh
no.
my god.
3 hole
And they get
breakers. Wait.
3 hole breakers.
Wait, this is actually kind of crazy because you can get double. Yeah, you can get like the hole breaker on like Zed. No, you can't get away with hole breaker on Renekton actually.
A cool interaction that I'm wondering if they're gonna go for is if you stack the 3 hole breakers on one unit.
Oh
and
my
then
god!
Use Renekton on that unit, you actually can spread the HP to more than just the unit groups. Actually, I lied. I just
yeah, because you
need Ignore me.
Because then Renekton's next to them.
But that is a very tanky Zed with a lot of
That's
stats.
kind of messed up. I'm kind of disgusted right now.
I will say for a prismatic augment, that is definitely not the strongest thing you could be getting. Especially without that 3-star Raven or a fully itemized Zeri. If anything, they really needed more damage here, and I think getting that extra tankiness doesn't hurt at all. But until they hit that 3-star Raven, it's looking a little scary. But honestly, I think being around the bush here, they're very likely gonna win this game. And if anything, we need to check in with some other players that have a chance of winning. Like if we cut the hero here, who you'll never guess what they're playing. Unless I saw
Don't
wrong.
tell me. Don't tell me.
That's right. 4 Vanguard, 4 Marksman. You know what? If you have a meta read and you're sticking to it, I kind of respect that. And it's kind of paying off. They are on a win streak here. They have 77 HP and they've hit all of their upgrades. But I think in a spot like this, the standard board is, again, not going to be enough to really beat that Cypher cash out, especially if they hit those 3-star Draven, things like that. They're one off Draven and Galio right now. So if Hero's ever gonna, they're gonna fight into, Rockwave here, who is also playing Marksman, but it's a bit of a unfortunate situation. Firo just has everything that Rockwave doesn't. Fully itemized 2-star units and 2-star frontline. We're not even watching the fight since Firo is currently spectating other people, but yeah, it's unfortunately.
Rockwave tried to step to the king.
It is a little bit of a mind game, right? Where if you know that Firo is going to play Vanguard Marksman every single game, a part of you is going to be like, maybe I don't want to fight that because I know I'm going to be contested.
Yeah, I wonder if Firo is on that mindset of, I'm last, I might as well just take someone down with me, you know?
I mean, I'm assuming you meant Rockwave, but yeah, that's
yeah,
very
Rockwave,
possible.
sorry.
I think they, if anything, they're just doing their best because if the tournament ends up going for like 4 more rounds, it's technically possible that they can win even just with like 2.
Yeah.
And then a finals. But it is true that this is a little bit of a frustrating thing for Firo, as if they have already clearly been playing towards that 3-star 4 cost. They have 6 Aphelioses at the moment, but since they're contested, it might end up being a little harder than they want it to be. But
It's something you also have to expect if you're just showing your hand this whole time, you know.
That's true. I'm interested in looking at OG Don Juan actually, because they did take Thinking Ahead with Birthday Present, which means that they're at level 10, and let's see, their Birthday Present clearly cashed out a 2-star Renekton and a 2-star Garen. And they do have that champ duplicator, so I think there was a world where they hit the same 5 cost in both situations, and they were pretty close with 3-star 5 cost there, but at this point, with no items really to put on them, this Birthday Present cash out is really just not looking like enough to really keep them in the game, especially against really strong boards. Like I was about to eat my worth, but never mind. Yeah, Firo takes it home with just so much of a stronger damage backline with the 3-item marksman compared to these just raw stats from the upgrade units. That is what you want to see though, a 4 strategist emblem from the Garen. Like, this will slowly start making the board a lot stronger than you really than it could be otherwise. Getting that early Garen from the birthday present allows you to get these God of the Net procs a lot earlier. So OG1 has a chance here, I think, if they can hit all the units they're looking for and maybe find more items later in the game to steal the rug out of Firo and Rufflehuffle, who are the current favorites, I think, to take home this whole thing. Cell also has a chance to get first place and win the whole tournament, but I think both Firo and Cell are a little bit less confident compared to that huge Cypher board that we were seeing earlier from Rufflehuffle.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't even that big of a cash out, but the thing is just like
they hit
when you
every
get
unit.
that spike and they hit and you hit everything.
They just hit
I
every
mean,
unit. It's yeah. I mean, the thing is, a lot of times Cypher doesn't need to be this game-winning, get like 4 radiant items and a force of nature. Those 4 extra items are genuinely a huge spike in strength, especially when you have all these 3-star units to put them on. And it's a strength that the rest of the lobby is kind of lacking, especially when everyone in this lobby has taken prismatic econ traits rather than some sort of combat augment. Like they don't really have a means to get that extra combat power that you can get from that Cypher cash out, for example.
and also off note, I've gone hostile takeover about like 4 times, and I think I've like placed under 4th every time. So I think that's just a bad one. I think we should like put that away, you know.
It's a hard one, I would admit. A lot of times it relies on the enemies in your game not really high rolling as much as they would want to, but generally speaking, that's like one of those augments where if you know how to play it, it can be stronger than you expect. I will say oftentimes it's looked a lot worse than it used to because it was changed from being available on 2-1 to being, I think, mostly available on 3-2 instead, which is usually too late to be taking that augment.
Yeah.
But I do believe that the trait hack still allows you to get it from that. So, some spots it's very fun to play at least.
I do believe, I could be wrong, but I think, Rufflehuffle accidentally, put, the tier on Garen? Yeah, he did. Yeah, he put the tier on Garen. They wanted to put a Hand of Justice on Renekton, but accidentally put the tier on Garen. They fixed the mistake. It's okay. Ignore the last 30 seconds of the words I've spoken.
They could have
Rufflehuffle
gotten
never
away
makes
with
any
that too.
mistakes.
You're just pointing it out on the screen. It wasn't even being shown.
Wait, it did not even.
Personally, I would have not called out by, I don't know, if I'm
Sorry, I'm like
Rufflehuffle,
stalking the Cypher board right now because this is like my goat. Like,
that's
I love
I mean,
Cypher.
I'm sure everyone else in this lobby is also stalking the Cypher board, since you kind of got to keep out a lookout for who is almost certainly winning the lobby. And I will point out there are some win conditions sneaking up on Rufflehuffle here. OG1 with the champion duplicator and multiple 6 copies of 5-cost units has a genuinely real chance of hitting a 3-star 5-cost, and that would be an insane way to just sneak up on this Cypher cash out.
Well, I mean, I'm watching Ruffle hit a 2-star Renekton here. That's a bit.
I mean, yes, certainly this board is almost impossible to beat in any standard means, but it's possible that a 3-star 4-cost or 5-cost could win. Someone would have to hit it first, though, so we'll have to see. I think, barring special circumstances, though, it's kind of looking over for most of these other players, and I think it's more of a scramble.
Yeah, I'm watching this Renekton take a bite out of the Galio. Now he just has a million health.
It's definitely gotta be. If you're Rufflehuffle in this spot, you're probably grinning ear to ear.
I'm laying back. I'm making a Mai Tai for myself right now, man. Like,
I think they're already like counting their webcams.
Yeah, counting the web. Counting the number of Ks on their webcam. That's 4,000 4K webcams. Thank you.
3, 4 times 1,000.
Yeah. Thank you, AVerMedia, for that 4K webcam. But we'll
Oh,
see who actually gets it,
I'm
because
sure
the game is not quite
Ruffle
over.
is. I would hope that Ruffle's not prematurely thanking AVerMedia. Actually, there are a few people that are have a slight chance of beating this port. I think I'm most interested in watching OG Don Juan here, or Cell, because I mean Cell has the most HP and OG Don Juan has a pretty cool setup to maybe hit a 3-star 5 cost here.
I regret to inform you that this Renekton is picking up a Sterex.
Yeah, it's just getting more and more powerful over time, but it's not looking great in terms of Cell spot. They did hit everything they were looking for with that prismatic ticket, but I think if we're gonna look at someone who's gonna take the crown from Ruffle here, it's almost certainly only Don Juan.
That's a rapid fire mod on Renekton too.
Wow.
So, okay. I need to take a. I'm on like a Ruffle gas huffing streak. I need to click on someone else right now. Hold on.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very interesting watching OG Don Juan here. They still have yet to use their champion duplicator. They're level 10 and they have a lot of 5 costs. They're currently sitting on 6 Viegos. If they had 2 more, Viego 3 could certainly beat this Cypher board. I mean, any 3-star 5 cost, and they just win the game. No Cypher or Cash Out is ever gonna really contend with that, except another 3-star 5 cost. They're gonna win this round, which gives them a lot more time. If they can make it to the creep round and get that extra money, they honestly have a very good chance of making it all the way to that 3-star 5 cost they're looking for.
I could see it. I mean, that would be the ultimate sucker punch to Ruffle right now.
Yeah, I mean, who really sees it coming? I mean, I'm sure they have it in mind, but it's a lot harder to deal with someone trying to go for 3-star 5 costs, since I mean, you have to also hit it if you're trying to stop them from getting to it. But
exactly.
I think this is the most important round for Don Juan here, because if they go against Ruffle, it's lights out. But they thankfully are going against Rockwave instead, and I believe even if they do lose this round, that they won't take enough damage to die. So they are gonna have enough time.
Oh, but it's looking like a wash. Unless that Kabuto.
It's a lot of damage coming out from these marksmen, but I believe the strength of these 5
The Aurora, yeah. Oh, poor Rockwave.
It's just.
I mean, he could not afford to lose that one. He was at 2 health.
Yeah, it's okay. They did pretty well, all considering playing marksman in the same lobby as Firo, but I think just like the issue with that marksman comp is always going to be when people are hitting these 5 cost 2-star units and stuff like that. It's hard to keep up when you don't really have as many 5 costs to be able to fit onto your board. Oh, that's 5 Samiras for OG Don Juan, so that's now 2 units that they're kind of looking. Oh my god, and Firo hits a 3-star Aphelios again.
Oh, wait, is this what does it?
Surely not. Surely this still doesn't beat the.
Not again, board, right? Not again.
This would be incredible. OG Don Juan's doing the roll down right now. We'll have to keep an eye out if they end up hitting. I think this is probably the round where they go all in and spend all of their money to hit whatever they can. But I mean, Firo is doing the same thing. They're also seemingly going for a Leona 2 or maybe a Zaya 2 as well. I think multiple 3-star 4 costs could very possibly beat that.
Yeah, I mean, Ruffle as much as the Cypher cash out was like strong.
Damn, and we're gonna see right now Aphelios 3 versus Nico 3. I do believe, if I was gonna guess, that this is a board that Aphelios can win against, since it's hard to out-tank a 3-star Ginsu unit.
Yeah, that's rough. I mean, like, is it?
I mean, it's a close one. I do believe Don Juan lives.
Yeah, that paint bomb doesn't hit in time.
It's just I don't think they have
Don
the
Juan's
money to really do much
Don
more.
Juan's alive though. I mean,
they are very close to hitting a second 4-cost 3-star unit.
Wait, Ruffle just hit a 3-star Zeri.
Oh my god, there are now 4 3-star 4 costs in this lobby, and you know what? It just kind of happens when you have this much money in a lobby. I think we couldn't have asked for a more insane final board situation for all of these units. And I mean, OG Don Juan is the only hope left for
Yes.
these players that aren't currently in checkmate. And I do believe that hope is about to be snuffed out as Ruffle Huffle is coming in with this 3-star Zeri Cypher cash out. I doubt that this Nico really has the chops to stand through it, but I'm currently being proven extremely wrong.
Oh, that was
No,
close.
being proven right. Okay, it was actually a lot closer than I thought it would be. That
His
Nico
match
actually
point.
did so much damage, but I mean, I think when it comes down to it, it's all up to Firo. Can 2 3-star 4 costs beat this Cypher cash out is really the question on everyone's minds.
I'm thinking the Aphelios might be enough. Actually, I'm not sure. That Zeri has very close to Biz.
I'm not certain. It's a Zeri versus it. So I think without that Zeri 3, it was maybe a shoo-in for Firo, but 3 costs, 3-star 4 costs. There's a lot to work with here, and I'm really not sure who's gonna take this one home. We're about to see it. This is Firo's last stand. They have to win this round against Ruffle Huffle, or I believe that Ruffle Huffle just runs away with the entire tournament. Pretty good Aphelios cast there. They're doing a lot of damage, but
that Aphelios is going crazy.
Zeri's doing a lot of damage, but this
I think
Leo
that's
is just absolutely invincible.
Oh, not again. Not
my
another. Nothing ever happens.
Ruffle Huffle, our one chance to change the history, is being shut down by Firo's third game in a row. Not in a row, but in the tournament with a 3-star Aphelios. I mean, there's gotta be some sort of like connection here. Do you think like Firo and Aphelios are just like secret lovers, and we're not aware?
I think they forgot. I genuinely, I will say this is what I think happened. I think everyone else in the lobby forgot that this was Firo's linchpin.
Genuinely, I saw 4 players holding Aphelios though.
Really?
I'm pretty sure they just all died because while Firo is saving all this HP, Ruffle Huffle with his Cypher cash out is killing every player in the game, and suddenly there's no one left to stop Firo from holding all these pieces.
I'm watching a frantic like unit shuffle from Ruffle Huffle to see if this will work, and
there's
I don't know.
Not much hope. I think, I don't know, placing this Renekton in front of the Aphelios with the hope that maybe it'll sneak into the backline and kill it instead of going for this Leona.
No, and it's just blown up.
It's just demolished, and now it's just up to this 3-star Zeri to.
Is it?
Wait, it's a 1v1.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Cypher wins!
3-star Aphelios, and Ruffle Huffle takes home the tournament and wins the AVerMedia 4K webcam. Oh my goodness, what a clash of the titans. We're seeing 2 3-star 4-cost units in a 1v1, both tanks demolished, and just barely, by margins of seconds.
That was close! That was the closest it could have been.
And we saw Zeri lost last time. They got stuck on the Leona, but by the positioning difference, Aphelios took so much longer. They wasted an entire cast on the Renekton Edge of Night, and it slowed down the speed of that board so much that they had enough time for Zeri to stack up that Ginsu and demolish the Leona 3-star 4 costs, and suddenly we're seeing a Cypher win against 2 3-star 4 costs.
Cypher wins, yes! It was really surprising to see that shuffle matter as much as it did, you know?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, I mean, maybe TFT skill game? No one expected it, but
I saw Baldy at the end say, "This is TFT," and I think I agree. You know,
really, that is what TFT is all about. Hitting, what was that? I think that was still 4 3-star 4 cost units in one game.
A lot of 3-star 4 costs.
I think that was 3 players at level 10. Oh my gosh, the amount of strong boards in that lobby was just insane.
Well, congratulations to Ruffle Huffle for winning Gaucho Gaming's TFT tournament. You know.
One last shout out.
Cypher board.
They're walking away with AVerMedia. Shout out for sponsoring. They will be walking away with their 4K webcam, and no slouches for second and third place, who are walking away with AVerMedia merch as well. I mean, products, actually, not even merch. So thanks again, AVerMedia. Thanks for everyone who watched the stream, and I hope you enjoyed.
Absolutely.
Today I'm going to introduce AVerMedia's Versatico,
a USB cardioid microphone.